people and up to 20 cars crashed right into the water. About 1:15 in the morning, construction workers were on the bridge at the time doing cement work. This barge seems to have lost power 2 or 3 times, regained it. This theory is with the black smoke, it indicates they tried to reverse it at the last minute. The whole brand, it got hit, they hit a pillar, the whole thing collapsed. It is horrific. You would think it's a Schwarzenegger movie, only it really happened. That story and more. Don't move.
It's Brian Kilmeade.
We are covering breaking news right now as President Biden is speaking from the White House, and he is talking about the bridge collapse, and we want to bring that to you right now. Breaking news live from the White House. Let's listen into President Biden as he speaks. All right, we're experiencing a little tech. There we go. President Biden.
From the state of Delaware, either on a train or by car. I've been in Baltimore Harbor many times. And the bridge collapsed, sending several people and vehicles into the water, into the river. And multiple U.S. Coast Guard units, which are stationed very nearby, thank God, were immediately deployed along with local emergency personnel. And the Coast Guard is leading the response to the port, where representatives from the Federal Highway Administration, the FBI, the Department of Transportation, the Army Corps of Engineers, as well as Maryland officials and Baltimore Police and Fire, are all working together to coordinate an emergency response. Officials at the scene estimate 8 people were unaccounted for were unaccounted for. That number might change. 2 have been rescued, 1 without injury, 1 in critical condition. And the search and rescue operation is continuing for all those remaining as we speak. I spoke with Governor Moore this morning, as well as the Mayor of Baltimore, the county executive, both United States senators and the congressman. And my Secretary of Transportation is on the scene. I told them we're going to send all the federal resources they need as we respond to this emergency. And I mean all the federal resources. And we're going to rebuild that port together. Everything so far indicates that this was a terrible accident. At this time, we have no other indication, no other reason to believe there's any intentional act here. Personnel on board the ship were able to alert the Maryland Department of Transportation that they had lost control of their vessel, as you all know and reported. As a result, local authorities...
There's a music station that fits your taste at Odyssey.com. Download the app for instant...
saved lives. And our prayers are with everyone involved in this terrible accident and all the families, especially those waiting for the news of their loved one right now. I know every minute in that circumstance feels like a lifetime. You just don't know. It's just terrible. We're incredibly grateful for the brave rescuers who immediately rushed to the scene, and to the people of Baltimore who want to say, we're with you. We're going to stay with you as long as it takes. And like the governor said, you're Maryland tough, you're Baltimore strong, and we're going to get through this together. And I promise we're not leaving. Here's what's happening now. The search and rescue operation is our top priority. Ship traffic in the Port of Baltimore has been suspended until further notice, and we'll need to clear that channel before the ship traffic can resume. The Army Corps of Engineers is on the spot and is going to help lead this effort to clear the channel. The Port of Baltimore is one of the nation's largest shipping hubs, and I've been there a number of times as a senator and as a vice president. It handles a record amount of cargo last year. It's also the top port in America for both imports and exports of automobiles and light trucks. Around 850,000 vehicles go through that port every single year, and we're going to get it up and running again as soon as possible. 15,000 jobs depend on that port, and we're going to do everything we can to protect those jobs and help those workers. The bridge is also critical for travel, not just for Baltimore, but for the Northeast Corridor. Over 30,000 vehicles cross the Francis Scott Key Bridge on a daily basis. It's virtually it's one of the most important elements for the economy in the Northeast and the quality of life. My transportation secretary is there now. As I told Governor Moore, I've directed my team to move heaven and earth to reopen the port and rebuild the bridge as soon as humanly possible. And we're going to work hand in hand with the support of Maryland to support Maryland whatever they ask for. We're going to work with our partners in Congress to make sure the state gets the support it needs. It's my intention that federal government will pay for the entire cost of reconstructing that bridge. and I expect the Congress to support my effort. This is going to take some time. The people of Baltimore can count on us, though, to stick with them at every step of the way until the port is reopened and the bridge is rebuilt. You know, we're not leaving until this job gets done. Not leaving until then. So I just want to say God bless everybody everyone harmed this morning and their families. And may God bless the first responders, many of whom risking their lives. And the reason I'm not going to take a lot of questions, there's remaining issues that are open that we got to determine what's going to happen in terms of the rescue mission and the like. But
Do you plan to go to Baltimore, sir? And if so, how quickly?
I do, and as quickly as I can. That's what we're
You said the federal government's also going to pay for the repairs. I'm just curious, this was a ship that appears to be at fault. Is there any reason to believe that the company behind the ship should be held responsible? And then also, you
that
mentioned
could be, but we're not going to wait for that to happen. We're going to pay for it to get the bridge rebuilt and opened.
What did you make of Israel's decision not to attend this meeting this week?
Oh, I don't want to get into that. I'll have plenty of time to talk about Rafah.
You mentioned the port. Can I ask about cars? About the port.
And the President of the United States exits the press room there, has answered some questions regarding the bridge collapse in Baltimore. It's pretty hard to watch that bridge fall with that massive cargo ship as it crashes into the stanchion that was supporting such a massive part of a 1.6-mile bridge. We're going to have more coverage on this. We wanted to bring the president to you as the president was speaking. So President Biden on the bridge collapse, and one of the key things he says in there is that the federal government is going to pay to repair that to get it done as quickly as possible. We will have more details throughout the course of the Annie Frey Show, which will be coming up, interrupting here a little bit, the Brian Kilmeade Show. Annie Frey Show starts at noon. We're going to take you back to Brian, and we'll be back with you in about 10 minutes. Don't go away.
Breaking news. 97.1, covering it live.
Let's talk garage doors. Your garage door. Is it too loud or letting cold or hot air in around the frame? Overhead Door Company of St. Louis will make it all better. In March only, they will perform their full 26-task garage door tune-up for just $79 and just in March. That's just $79 for up to 3 garage doors and openers. You need this done once a year, so why not now? And for just $79. Schedule now at overheaddoorsstlouis.com.
I can see clearly now thanks to the doctors at Ophthalmology Associates. Doctors Greg Birdie, Ranjan Malhotra, Robert Brusati, Andy Royer, and introducing Samuel Berry. You can too. Call 314-966-5000 or check out youridoc.com. That's youridoc.com.
St. Louis's destination for questioning the narrative.
Your home for conservative talk.
This is 97.1 FM Talk.
Elected without Pennsylvania, and Biden can't win Pennsylvania without winning the Philly suburbs. The Philly suburbs, you're talking about, there's about 300, so about a little over 7 million voters in Pennsylvania in 2020. There's about 300,000+ Jewish voters. A lot of them are in the Philly suburbs. A lot of them are Democrats. I think you can see a lot of them vote for Biden and then say vote for Dave McCormick down ballot. So I think you'll see a lot of ticket splitting because of the Israel issue.
All right, Dan Senor, thanks so much. Goes to the Brian Kilmeade Show. Keep it here.
Paid for by Christian Care Ministry.
Let's see, if something costs less, but people are happier with it, that sounds like something to look into, and that is MediShare. Maybe you've heard switching to MediShare to pay for healthcare can save many families up to $500 a month, and that is huge. But it's also true that people are way more satisfied after making the switch, too. The member satisfaction rate for MediShare is double that of the typical health insurance plan. Double. MediShare works, too. It's been around for 30 years. Members have shared more than $5 billion of each other's bills. People love having telehealth and a huge nationwide PPO network. So, yeah, really, you can save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care. So if you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan you're happy with, you can call right now. You'll get a price within 2 minutes. So see what you can save. This is a very, very smart use of 2 minutes. Here's the number you need. Call 855-51-BIBLE. That's 855-51-BIBLE, 855-51-BIBLE.
If your credit card bills have gotten out of hand, call Consolidated Credit now. If the interest rates on your credit cards are so high, it'll take years to get out of debt. Call Consolidated Credit now. They've helped over 10 million people without destroying your credit. They can reduce your interest rates, lower your total payments up to 50% to get you out of debt fast. For a free consultation, call Consolidated Credit now. The program works.
Call 800-210-4298. 800-210-4298. 800-210-4298.
Consolidated Credit Solutions Incorporated, 5701 West Sunrise Boulevard, Fort Lauderdale, Florida 33313. Licensed by the New York Department of Financial Services and by the Vermont Department of Financial Regulation. Kansas CSO 0019051. Maryland DM 1492. Oregon DM 892. Licensed by the Virginia State Corporation Commission license number DC83. Service may adversely affect the individual's credit. Non-payment of debt may lead to additional finance charges or collections activity, including legal action. Actual interest rates, length of program, and monthly payment reductions will vary by consumer and creditor. Yours could be higher or lower. Not a loan company. We do not lend.
KFTK FM Florissant. From the Under Law Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studio, 97.1 FM Talk. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
A pledge from the president after a bridge collapse in Baltimore. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News.
It's going to take some time. The people of Baltimore can count on us, though, to stick with them at every step of the way until the port is reopened and the bridge is rebuilt.
President Biden saying moments ago it's his intention for the federal government to pay for the bridge replacement. The Francis Scott Key Bridge collapsing early today after a container ship lost power and hit the bridge.
We can confirm that the crew notified authorities of a power issue.
Maryland Governor Wes Moore says the crew's Mayday call allowed officials to stop more vehicles from crossing the bridge, but the collapse did take down a construction crew that was filling potholes at the time. 2 people were found, one refusing treatment, the other is hospitalized. 6 more remain missing as a search, including with divers, continues. The NTSB is investigating. Supreme Court justices are sounding skeptical that plaintiffs in an abortion pill fight have legal standing for the case. Abortion opponents, including doctors, are challenging the FDA's decisions on mifepristone and arguing safety risks are impacting them.
This is a group of doctors and an organization representing pro-life doctors who say they don't want to be in the position of having to treat women in an emergency basis who have gotten mifepristone, one of the 2 pills used in medicated abortions, who show up at emergency rooms. These doctors don't want to be roped into a situation where maybe they have to end a pregnancy when that stands in conflict with their own personal beliefs. So the court heard a lot about those things today, but still most of these justices didn't seem like they could get past the issue of whether these doctors can show they've had any injury. Where's the example that you're being roped into these situations?
Fox's Shannon Bream at the Supreme Court, where supporters on both sides have been rallying for hours. America is listening to Fox News.
Oh, this cold.
Honey?
Honey?
Honey, you need DayQuil Severe Honey.
DayQuil Severe Honey gives you powerful cold and flu symptom relief with a honeylicious taste, because life doesn't stop for a cold.
Okay, I'm ready to go.
Now I'm getting a cold.
Honey.
Try DayQuil Severe Honey for powerful cold and flu relief. DayQuil Severe with honey flavor. The daytime coughing, aching, stuffy head, fever, honeylicious, power through your day medicine. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies candidates with the right skills, sends you great matches, then you can easily invite them to apply. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. See for yourself. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/free to try ZipRecruiter for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Chilly times going through our Tuesday afternoon, looking for a high of about 55. Still windy, though, little lighter wind than yesterday with a slow clearing process. Tonight, partly cloudy skies, light winds, 29 for the low. So a light frost and freeze away from the city. Wednesday, sunny and chilly, 52. Thursday, 62 and sunshine, 72 on Friday. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. And right now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. With ZipRecruiter, one click sends your job to hundreds of top job sites. But more than that, ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies the candidates with the skills you need, sends you a list of great matches to review, then actively invites them to apply for your job. And the results speak for themselves. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. That's right, the first day. Now you can focus on your business and let ZipRecruiter do the work finding the best people for you. See for yourself. Experience the ease, efficiency, and power of ZipRecruiter for free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
Is your home, business, or church looking tired, chalky, or in need of curb appeal? Go Rhino. Tired of painting year after year? Go Rhino. Our unique 3M ceramic technology is perfect for brick, stucco, aluminum, steel, color lock masonite, and more. It's backed by our 25-year transferable warranty to not chip, crack, or peel. Great if you're staying, and even better if you're selling. Our ceramic coating allows you to maintain all of your architectural features. The decision to do vinyl will leave your home looking like a plastic moldy box. With Rhino Shield, in 15 years, your home will still have that, wow, it looks like you just got it painted. We've done large condo complexes, parking garages, pole barns, and commercial strip malls. We coat sloped and flat roofs to extend their lives too. Evaluations are free. 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com. See what we did there? Genius. Tell them, ladies.
No paint, don't vinyl, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
I'm Dr. Nick Barnes at Health From Within Family Chiropractic in Rock Hill. At Health From Within, our mission is to transform the way you manage your health by bringing you the truth about health and healing. We use proven techniques to remove interference in the nervous system and maximize health naturally, without drugs or surgery. Connect with me at healthfromwithinstl.com and join me for Maximize Living on this station every Sunday at 8 a.m. or download the Maximize Living podcast, healthfromwithinstl.com.
With each breath, allergens, germs, and viruses get trapped in your nose. Now there's a simple, easy, and effective way to clean your nose and protect your health. It's called Navage. Navage available at Navage.com.
The Annie Fry Show YouTube live chat poll of the day is sponsored by Ruler Foods. Low prices, no coupons. Ruler Foods.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
Thank you, Chief. Everyone, this is a unthinkable tragedy. We have to, first and foremost, pray for all of those who are impacted, those families. Pray for our first responders and thank them, all of them working together, city, state, local, to make sure that we are working through this tragedy. This is an ongoing, active research that we're having right now. We're going to continue, as you heard from Chief Wallace, throughout. As long as we have to be doing that, we will do it. But we have to be thinking about the families and people impacted, folks who we have to try to find and save. This is what our focus should be on right now. We're going to continue to work in partnership with every part of government to do everything that we can to get us through the other side of this tragedy.
That is the mayor of Baltimore. His name is Brandon Scott. And he is talking about the terrible tragedy that occurred very early this morning in Baltimore. A cargo ship. There's not. Have you gotten this far through the day today without having heard about this or seen this video? If you have, what happened was a massive cargo ship, and I'm talking just freight stacked all the way across 3, 4. I don't know how many high. Is seen approaching the Francis Scott Key Bridge in Baltimore. The lights flicker all the way off on the cargo ship. and then they come on, and then the lights go back off again. And then you see this big plume of black smoke out of the rear of the ship, and it collides with one of the columns, the stanchions that is supporting this bridge. This bridge is 1.6 miles long. It is 185 feet up in the air off of the water. And as soon as it collides with the stanchion, the bridge just collapses right into the water. The reports are that there was some construction being done at the time on the bridge, some pothole fixing that was taking place. So there were some construction workers there. There are also reports that there was some sort of alert that was sent from the ship in enough time to try to stop vehicles from entering the bridge. If you were on the bridge past when they stopped people from entering it, you had to get across to the other side. 2 people have been rescued from this tragedy, and the last I heard, there were still 6 people who they were trying to recover. The waters are 45 degrees, maybe colder. Happened at 1:30 at night. I think it was 1:30 Eastern. And it is looking very grim for the rest of those people who have not yet been found. I don't know anything about the Baltimore mayor, Brandon Scott. I remember I think it was the Baltimore mayor from the Freddie Gray situation in Baltimore that was years ago. I don't know much about Brandon Scott, but I do appreciate that he comes out and talks about an unthinkable tragedy. And the first thing is that he says is we have to pray. So I would encourage you, if you're listening right now, you've got 15 seconds to spare. Pray for everybody who's involved in this, because it is jarring to watch that bridge collapse. Today's YouTube live chat poll, I think this hits people. I mean, isn't it kind of one of those fears that everybody has? Like, you're driving across your bridge and you're just like, kind of hold your breath a little bit. Maybe you hold your breath when isn't that like an old wives' tale? You hold your breath when you pass a graveyard or something like that. Every time I get on a plane, I'm like, okay, hope this goes well. You cross a bridge and you kind of think, I hope this goes well. I'm even a little superstitious. My husband will mock me for this. He probably should. But if I'm walking through downtown streets, I don't walk over grates. You know how sometimes they have grates that are like the size of the sidewalk? If I can walk around the grate, I'm walking around the grate, and I avoid them, and he just walks straight across them with great confidence. But we all have these fears in our mind that are irrational fears about what is going to materialize to us when we experience this, flight across the country, or maybe it's a 45-minute flight, and you're just thinking, I hope this goes well. The more you do it, the less fearful that you become of it. You become more experienced at it. You have more of an understanding of how everything works, and you become less afraid of it. And then if you hear a story about a plane that crashes, if you hear a story about a door flying off of a plane in mid-flight, you're like, I didn't know that was part of the options in front of us. And it really pushes you back into amplifying those what should be irrational fears in your head. And if you've seen this video of this bridge collapsing, I just realized this morning I was going to pay attention to my left and my right when I crossed the Tucker Bridge, or the Stan Musial Bridge. And I didn't. I forgot to. The YouTube live chat poll for today is, do you cross a major bridge multiple times a week? I'm wondering how many of you listening here in the Annie Fry Show audience, and the 97.1 FM Talk audience, are crossing major bridges every day. Because if you do that, you are going to see this with a little extra weight than those who maybe don't have to do that for work. I have to cross the Stan Musial Bridge twice a day for work. So I'm looking at this going, man, that thing that just happened. And we have tugboat operators who listen to this show and have sounded their, is it a horn? Is that what it is?
I don't know. I would call it a horn. He calls it a toot. Okay.
Sounds like something my 2-year-old would say. If captains listen, he can comment, let us know. I think it's a horn. So we are sitting here right across, just walking distance from the Mississippi River. And you've got the Missouri River, the Illinois River. There's a lot of bridges happening right here in this area. How you doing? How you feeling? Let us know on the Andy Fry YouTube live chat poll. If you cross a major bridge multiple times a week, your options are almost daily, occasionally, hardly ever, or no, you don't. You can't look at that bridge crash and not immediately raise at least one eyebrow going, how does that happen? Is this possibly just human error or technical mechanical malfunction? Of course, that is the possibility. At this point in time, all the reports are that there is no, extra T word involved in what's going on. And I will take their word at it and keep watching for the exact explanation of what took place. It is a massive disruption to commerce through that port in Baltimore. It's one of the busiest ports that exists in the country. It is a massive disruption for transportation for people in Baltimore. It's going to be a massive expense to repair that bridge for the people of Baltimore. So you sit here and you wonder to yourself, how does something like this happen? And this is when fear manifests itself when you ask yourself that question, and then the only answer you have is, I don't know. Because the blank space that's created by I don't know allows your mind to wander into places that can sometimes surprise you, make you uncomfortable. And it's in a moment like that where you want to be able to say, I don't know, but I trust the people involved to handle it. I don't think that we live in one of those times, and maybe that's a naive place for me to even suggest that your mind would naturally go. It's nice to be, how like when you're a child and it's storming outside and the wind is blowing. We've had so much wind here lately. The wind is blowing like crazy. You see the flashes of lightning. You hear the rolling of the thunder. And when you're a child and your mom and dad appear to be calm and they say, it's going to be fine. It's nothing to worry about. It's going to be fine. You just say, okay. And then there's the point where you get older and maybe you're still living with them. Maybe you're on your own in college. Maybe it's beyond that. And you hear that same storm outside and you might think of your parents going, it'll be fine. And you realize they don't really have any control over that. There is just a trusted assurance that you had in somebody or something being the safety net that you needed to make sure that everything was going to be okay. You want the reassurance that everything is going to be okay. Now, I'm not here to suggest that the bridge collapse is Pete Buttigieg's fault. I'm not here to suggest that the bridge collapse is Joe Biden's fault. I'm not here to suggest that if Donald Trump were president, that the bridge would still be up. It's not political like that at all. But when you have, if it is what they say it is, if the bridge is a tragic accident, I heard about I can't remember which, and I don't want to say the wrong cruise line because I don't want to get it wrong, but there was a cruise line maybe not so long ago, maybe in the last 2 years, the GPS system was off. The GPS system was saying the boat was in one place and it was not. And I think it ran ashore and it was a big problem. How tragic for the people who are in charge of that ship at the time who have to manage that crisis. And there's time for blaming and there's time for you should have known or you should have done this, you should have done that. But in that moment, you need to have people in charge. You need to have leaders. You need to have authorities who can quickly handle the situation and get us back to a place where we are fortunate enough to be a part of the conversation of how did this happen and how do we make it so it never happens again? I don't think anybody here knows today who is to blame for this bridge collapse, for this ship apparently losing power multiple times. I mean, I don't want to compare this to the Titanic. This is not the Titanic. But if you've seen the movie Titanic, you remember when they show the long shots of the Titanic on the sea and the power starts to flicker on and off. And it's the whole ship goes off and then it comes back on. If you haven't seen the video yet, you see this ship is massive. It is a huge cargo ship. I heard one of the reports say 80 to 90,000 tons. That's big. and you see the power go off over the entire thing. I'm actually kind of surprised that we haven't heard. I haven't heard, Brad, I don't know if you've heard reports from the people who are on the ship.
I haven't heard or seen anything from them. So I don't know of. I mean, the ship's still afloat.
It's right. Yeah. Like they would have to be evacuated.
Yeah.
Or they're out there. And I'm thinking the ship has to be compromised. Granted, there got to be ways that you can't like poke a hole in that ship and it just goes down. There's got to be things involved that help keep it afloat. But it's tangled up in this bridge steel that is twisted and turned all around the front end of the boat. There are people on this ship, or there were. Now, if I'm involved in the shipping company, I'm getting lawyers surrounding my people immediately to make sure that, those interests are going to be protected. But we haven't heard, like, are they okay? Have they spoken? We haven't heard from any of that. And I would assume that they are. I almost feel like if it is a pilot error, if it is a captain error, that we should hear that sooner than later. The longer, if you are somebody who is on that ship and you can explain something that was going on that maybe is unexplainable, or maybe some of the things behind what the pilot might have experienced are questionable, you would want to get that story down and understood immediately before it just got thrown out there to the world to consume. So there's supposed to be an update at 1:30, I think. The NTSB is supposed to give an update at 1:30. We've got a really good show for you. 1:05, Jim Carafano is going to join the show. I'm going to see if he has anything to say about this. I don't know. I am, if you've listened to the show for a long time, you know this. If you're newer to the show, I like to remind you that I am not here to speculate. I think that there are too many people who are trying to be the first to the news, and they don't care if they're wrong because they're willing to risk that they're right. So I don't want to spend a lot of time speculating on what it could be. I'll tell you what has been reported. If I have a thought on the matter, I'm certainly going to bring that to you. At 1:30, we have Lieutenant Joe Gamaldi, who's going to come on the show, and he is the Fraternal Order of Police National Vice President. And he's an officer at the Houston Police Department. And there are so many huge news stories happening right now. And this bridge story is just shocking. So it is leading the news cycle. But a career criminal in New York at a routine traffic stop took the life of an officer. 1-year-old baby, wife, gone. And this story is a repeat story. We hear this over and over and over again. And you got to ask yourself, why is this something that can continue to happen and the country doesn't have outrage over it? There are certain instances in this country where something will happen and we quickly assess the demographics of the people involved, and then it in many ways can be the determining factor on how big this story gets. How much do the Blue Lives Matter in the United States of America today? They matter a lot to you. I know that. They matter a lot to me. And so we're going to speak with Lieutenant Joe Gamaldi at 1:25. And Jack Posobiec, haven't had him on the show for a while. My friend Jack is going to be here at 2:05. We don't usually do guests in the 2 o'clock hour, but he gets done with his show a little bit before that. So he's going to join us to talk about his latest book, Unhumans, The Secret History of Communist Revolutions and How to Crush Them. Seems like a pretty dramatic title. Do we need to be talking about communist revolutions in the United States of America right now? Jack thinks we should. So we're going to discuss it with him at 2:05 and his book, Unhumans. I want to take a quick break. Would love to see your thoughts on the YouTube live chat poll for today, what you think is going on in Baltimore. Right now, the report is there is no terrorism suspected with the bridge collapse. And we'll have an NTSB update sometime in the 1 o'clock hour. We're going to try to bring that to you after we get done speaking to Lieutenant Joe Gamaldi. Do you cross a major bridge multiple times a week? Almost daily? Occasionally? Hardly ever? Or no? If you go to the Annie Fry YouTube channel, we're broadcasting live there. Hello to the people watching. And you can vote. Just find the live chat to today's live broadcast. Little box there. Vote. Let us know what you think. We'll be right back.
save your love through loneliness.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
Jen Teske and RE/MAX Alliance, she's your go-to when you are looking to buy and sell. In Illinois, you want Jen Teske, Teske, Jen Teske at RE/MAX Alliance. Her team backs her up, supports her, and helps make sure that your experience with Jen Teske and RE/MAX Alliance is one that you will be bragging about, raving about to your friends, to your family when it comes time for them to buy and sell a home. It's just the way it goes. Jen Teske is a ray of sunshine. She is incredibly attentive to details. She understands exactly where the market is, and she is there to help you put your best foot forward when it comes to listing and selling your home in Illinois. For buyers out there, if what you are looking for is on the market and you need the very best realtor to help you get the job done, Jen Teske and her team at RE/MAX Alliance, they're the ones to get it done. If you are interested in listing your home and you're not 100% sure if you're ready to go, still give her a call. 618-541-1010, 618-541-1010, JenTeskeHomes.com.
The IRS definitely ramped up operations since the pandemic slowed them down, and activity only increases from here. Hi, this is Lance Story with the Lance Story Law Firm. If you're currently under audit or you haven't paid your taxes in the past, now's the time to call the Lance Story Law Firm. The IRS has a published Taxpayer Bill of Rights, which says you have the right to retain legal representation. Because IRS problems are legal problems, and the Lance Story Law Firm focuses specifically on addressing IRS issues for our clients. It's all we do. We get out in front of the IRS, devise the best resolution plan, and work to make sure you're able to take advantage of every program you're qualified to receive. So before you send money to some out-of-town, high-pressure company, call the Lance Story Law Firm. We're local, located right here in St. Louis, or visit Lance, DRURYlaw.com to schedule your free consultation with your local tax resolution law firm, the Lance Story Law Firm, 314-260-6120.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
If you're driving a car or truck with an expired warranty and suddenly lost your transmission or needed a full engine repair, would a $4,000 repair bill leave you stranded? I'm Danica Patrick. Don't get caught off guard with a vehicle breakdown. Choose the company I trust, Endurance. No matter the mileage, if your vehicle is less than 20 years old, Endurance offers auto protection plans for any budget. Protection on the drivetrain, electrical, transmission, AC, and more. Plus 24/7 roadside assistance and rental car reimbursement on any plan. Endurance handles everything, from making the claim to paying the certified mechanic of your choice. Act now and get 1 full year of elite benefits. A $2,000 value, free.
Endurance has paid hundreds of millions in claims. Call for your fast free quote today. Call 800-296-7260. That's 800-296-7260. 800-296-7260.
Now is a great time to start planning your next outdoor project with my friends at Chesterfield Fence and Deck. Mark Cox here. You know, they're in their 56th year of business in the region. This is a locally owned and operated company since 1968. And Chesterfield Fence and Deck has such great options for you for your fence, for your decking. They've got regular wood, right? Natural cedar decks, and they've got Vecadec vinyl decking, and they got a brand new color available this year. It's pewter. It's a gorgeous gray color that has beautiful variation throughout it for more of a natural look. Of course, they do custom sunrooms and screen rooms and pergolas and patios. You name it, they can do it for you at Chesterfield Fence and Deck. If you need inspiration, call them up, go to their website, ChesterfieldFence.com, or visit their showroom in the Valley. Mention my name, Mark Cox, and get a special discount for 48 months interest-free financing for February or March. Go online to ChesterfieldFence.com.
You're listening to the Annie Fry Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Getting in your comfort zone with a new HVAC system is more affordable than you think, thanks to 0% financing for up to 72 months. For details and a free estimate, visit aircomfortservice.com.
For details and a list of all station contest rules, visit www.971talk.com/rules. We're here to help you get registered to vote, whether you're in Missouri or Illinois. Democracy 2024 on 97.1 FM Talk. If you need help getting registered, go to 971talk.com/vote. You're listening to The Annie Fry Show on St. Louis's home for conservative talk. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Fry Show.
He's got to stay. If he stays early, we can get the special election. It's a very safe Republican seat. Right. We'll add to our majority. We don't have the other special to fill Kevin McCarthy's seat until April 30th. And we were perilous. We could end up being having a speaker, Hakeem Jeffries, in the interim here while we're waiting for special elections. First, personally, if you're going to make a commitment to the people that elect you, that you're going to serve for 2 years, unless you have a really good reason not to serve, then why would you do that? And aren't we Team Republican? I hate to be political here because it's a money show, but we're talking about money. We're talking about saving our economy. We're talking about all the things you talk about. Without the Republicans in office, we're going to lose all of these great things that we have as a country. Self-governance, free market system, all those things are eroding away from us.
So that was Congresswoman Claudia Tenney. She's a New York Republican. And when I'm watching the Republicans in the House just fall into their own way over and over and over again, I'm starting to get annoyed. I understand that business in Washington, D.C. doesn't function the way business functions outside of the Beltway. I understand that politics is in some ways, shapes, and forms different than the kind of business that you and I would do every day. The amount of deals that need to be made, so much of what goes on in Washington, D.C. is compromise. And what percentage of it do we not ever even see for ourselves? What kind of deals are being made to get stuff done on a regular basis? It's part of the game. It's part of how it functions. And I reiterate, this is why I try to remind myself that the founding fathers did not want it to be easy to get stuff done in Washington, D.C. They did not want it to be simple and smooth for people to come up with an idea and smoothly just zoop, pass it right through so that they could overlord you. The idea was to make government move almost at the pace of molasses so that you wouldn't be easily overtaken by the people who you choose to represent you under the Constitution in our democratic republic. It is impossible to be somebody who is politically plugged in and watch the Republicans just slap fight over and over and over again and not be able to figure out a way to govern. I don't like the idea of what the Democrats do, which is a lockstep. They pick one person, Nancy Pelosi, and she commands the Democratic caucus with such great influence and force or whatever it is that she has. And whatever types of turmoil they have, we don't get to be a party to it. We don't get to watch it. There was a little bit of consternation that took place the last time that Nancy Pelosi was elected speaker. And when she was elected speaker the last time, I think part of the deal of her being elected speaker there was that she wouldn't run again. And she didn't. She has a way of commanding the Democrats to get things done, and the Republicans are so irresponsible in how they elect to represent the party as a whole and understand that the compromises that need to be made with the party as a whole, whatever fighting that needs to take place, I just wish it weren't out in front of everybody to see. Go have your slap fights. But when you come out to the public, you have to have some sort of resolution. You have to have some sort of goal. And it should reflect the will of small government-minded American taxpayers and voters. And they can't seem to do that. I mean, here's where I think that the Republicans are up against something that the Democrats aren't. The Republicans can send people to Washington, D.C. that are like Adam Kinzinger and that are like Thomas Massie. You can have a wide spectrum of people who are representing a variety of different constituencies a Republican district in the state of Illinois, a Republican district in the state of New York, like the Congresswoman we were just playing there, is going to look a little bit different than the heart of Kentucky or the heart of Texas or the heart of Alabama or wherever it might be. They're different. And to me, that's really a true, strong indication of how widespread the Republican Party actually is. The idea that the Republican Party can represent all these different kinds of people that have different ideas and thoughts and expectations should be a strength of the Republican Party. What is it? Honest question, Brad. What is it that the Democrat Party across all districts and counties and states, the blue places, like it's really strange to look at a map of the United States of America if you're looking at a congressional district map and see where the blue is and where the red is. It's very consolidated, where the people are very consolidated. They're still representing a proportionate amount of people, but they're just in very different locations, living very different lives. But it doesn't strike me that the Democrats actually have to represent a broad spectrum of perspectives and existences in the United States of America because they're all in these urban places.
Yeah, it seems like the Democrat Party's strongholds are concentrated in urban areas. And the thing about that is, and I've gone back and forth with people that are Democrats from these urban areas about sweeping, these were statewide sweeping policies that they wanted to implement. They wanted to implement like stronger public transport for everybody and try to eliminate how far people could drive. This was in Illinois. I think it was about the driving tax.
They're going to tax you by the mile.
Yeah. And I'm like saying to them, you don't understand. You live in Chicago, which public transport is probably the best way to get around. My parents live in the country on a farm that the nearest town is 15 to 20 minutes away. They don't have buses that roll by. There are different circumstances. And because you made this point, and I'd never even thought about it until you just said this, they don't have to appeal to a broad area anymore because they've concentrated their populace or their base in these population centers. And what their base experience is on a day-to-day experience is different than what some other districts experience. And it didn't used to be like that. There used to be Democrats that were farmers, and there used to be Democrats that were just
blue-collar
union people. And those people aren't in the Democrat Party anymore. And
not as much as they had been.
Well, they don't have the weight to balance out the scales. So everything gets shifted to this very urban-friendly, and when I say urban, I mean city-based friendly policy that would work probably pretty well in a large city, but it doesn't work in more rural areas.
So if you put a bunch of representatives out of these very urban areas into Congress, and then you take the Republicans, there are a few Republicans representatives that come out of urban areas, not very many. Very suburban, and suburban can kind of lean to the urban, suburban can lean to the country.
Mm-hmm.
It depends on the location, it depends on the state and the influence, of course. And then the rural areas, it is a tall order for Republicans to come together as a caucus, as a whole, and represent the people who, you might be in an urban area and might just be sick and tired of the way things are going and maybe be considering voting Republican. Why? Not because you love the Republican Party, but because you're sick and tired of what the Democrats won't do. That's not the same thing as a voter that comes out of a rural southern Illinois. They're very different people. And to me, the Republican Party has to stretch their arms so wide to bring everybody together to have some sort of consensus that they fall on their face most of the time trying to stretch to do it. The Democrats don't have to serve that many masters. It's very helpful to the Democrat Party. I think it's tragic as well, but it's very helpful for the Democrat Party to say, not only are we not going to look at all the different, life experiences that are existing across Americans today, we're going to make this as simple as we possibly can. We're going to say, if you don't vote for me, you ain't black. Simple as it gets. The idea that Joe Biden, the guy who's the president right now, would come out and say, if you don't vote for me, you ain't black. That's how they think, because that's how they strategize politically. I don't think there's anything wrong with saying, let's look at the issues and concerns that seem to be higher importance in the black community. I don't think anyone's asking the question, let's look at the issues that are of high importance in the white community. People aren't asking those questions. I do think that there is value in looking at what black Americans across the board are saying are important issues to them. And I would say they want better education, which is what white people want. I would say that they want better opportunity, which is what white people want. I would say that they want to be safe in their homes and be secure, which is what white people want. What the left does is they take all of that, they strip it down, and they don't want the details. It's just easier if you can say, hey, if you're black, you vote Democrat. That's just the way it goes. And if you choose to betray the Democrat Party, guess what that means about your black card? The oldest, whitest guy in the bunch gets to say he gets to take it from you. That's outrageous. A lot of people on the left have been working to try to, I don't have the quote right in front of me directly, but Donald Trump was questioning Democrats who are Jewish people who are continuing to support the Democrat Party. And it's ironic to me. I mean, you can look at Donald Trump saying, how could a Jewish person today vote to support this Democratic Party? The abstaining of the vote at the UN in a very neutral position towards Israel. We are not neutral towards Israel. We are not neutral towards Israel. Ask John Kirby, because when he was asked about that vote or non-vote afterwards, he said, our position hasn't changed. Well, bull crap, it hasn't changed. If it hasn't changed, then stand up on the world stage and say so. But that's not what we do, because the Democrat Party right now is more interested in votes in Michigan and Minnesota, that they need to be able to go to Michigan and Minnesota and appear to those people to say that we don't unequivocally support Israel. It's complicated. That's the bone that they throw to people whose votes that they need. It's not about standing on principle. Guess what? When you stand on principle, you will lose people's votes because you will say that you support something that they don't. But if you never stand on principle and you only ever stand on political party lines, you will lose support because people will see that you're spineless. And anything and everything that you say is subject to the changing winds of the political interests of the country. What happens if Georgia ends up being the questionable state for Joe Biden? Well, how's he going to shift his policies then? What about Arizona? What about Nevada? What about Pennsylvania? Is the president really willing to sacrifice one of the most core foreign policies that exists with the United States of America and our brotherhood with Israel for votes in Michigan? It appears so. And I wouldn't necessarily be so willing to say that if I wouldn't have already heard the man himself say, if you don't vote for me, you ain't black. Democrat supporters, Joe Biden supporters want to come out and question and point their finger at Donald Trump for questioning how Jewish people could support the Democratic Party. How can a Jewish person look and see what this administration, led by Joe Biden, is doing with their support from Israel? How could a Jewish person look at that and go, yeah, I'm still going to vote for this party? So here's my question to those Democrat critics. Should Donald Trump have not said that? Should Joe Biden have not said that? I just want to make sure we're being consistent here in how we apply our judgment. I think that the situations are different. I think that Donald Trump can look with a policy and say, look at what Joe Biden is doing in Israel right now. Look at what the Democrats, the left wing of the Democrat Party, is yanking and pulling the Democrat center away from where it was to be pro-Palestinian. Is a two-state solution something that sounds palatable for everyone? It seems like it's palatable for everyone but what would be Palestine, because Palestine doesn't exist without the idea of the unexistence of Israel. And a two-state solution is the next step in a new one-state solution that doesn't include Israel. That's hard to support. I know that I've spoken with people in the Jewish community that I'm close to. They feel very betrayed by this president, but they knew it was coming. Politically speaking, watching the Republicans in the House of Representatives right now constantly get in their own way, stumble 10 yards before they get to the finish line, cough up the ball backwards for the other people to pick it up, scoop it up, and take it in for a touchdown that they do with cartwheels all the way down the field. It's getting a little annoying. It's unrealistic, but I wish we could just boil down the Republican list of goals to maybe 2 or 3. Securing the border being the primary one. If it goes against securing the border, we are not for it. The second thing being accountability in every penny of your money that is spent out of Washington, D.C. Where is it going? What is it going for? Is it being spent for what we sent it for? If it's not, how do we get it back? How do we make sure we never spend another one again? And the third is an actual fair justice system where if you did the crime, you will do the time. But we cannot manipulate a bureaucracy that exists behind the curtains and can be there fortified from decade to decade to decade for the people in that bureaucracy to pull the strings in a way that keeps one party in a position of power and constantly keeps the other party up against the wall. Those are my 3 things. There's a lot of other important things in addition to those. But if we can't take this really big, broad party that the Republican Party actually is, we are the Big Tent party. The Democrats are not the Big Tent party. In fact, the people who aren't in the tent, they hate those people. They detest those people. They hate you. How do we make our Big Tent party boil down the keys, the goals that we have until a Republican is sworn into office in the presidency in January of 2025 and actually keep our eyes squarely focused on success? This version of the Republican Party in the House, it ain't working. Let's take a quick break. In the 1 o'clock hour, Jim Carafano is going to join us at 1:05. 1:25, we've got Lieutenant Joe Gamaldi. He's the Fraternal Order of Police National Vice President. I'm excited to talk to him. Sad to be talking to him in the wake of yet another police officer shot dead yesterday in New York. Come join us on the Annie Fry YouTube channel and vote in today's poll. Do you cross a major bridge multiple times a week? Let us know if you do. Maybe which bridge it is. We'll be right back.
The Annie Fry Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
Break the silence, damn the dark, damn the light. And if you don't love me now, you will never love.
All right, the Retirement Advisor Group. It's your last opportunity to get signed up. A few seats available. 314-993-9494. 314-993-9494. It's the Protecting Your Retirement Educational event for March, and it's tonight. I'm going to be there. I'm going to get there at about 6 o'clock, and I'll stay till 6:30. And Mark Cox and Mark Reardon and I will welcome you to the event and talk a little bit about what we have experienced working with Thomas Helbig for years and years. And we will turn it over to Thomas. He takes about 45 minutes of your time. So if your evening has opened up, if it's free tonight and you didn't know that you were going to be free, sign up. You can call 314-993-9494 and reserve your spot today. I would love to see you there. I'll be there at 6 o'clock. You're going to be able to learn about how you can have a structured income plan designed for you in your retirement based on where you are right now and where you want to be. And you can put yourself in the hands of the Retirement Advisor Group and be confident that your retirement will be worry-free. Call 314-993-9494. That's 314-993-9494, or visit them online at retirementkey.com.
Outdoor Living Redefined, brought to you by Lakeside Renovation and Design, your trusted partner in crafting stunning decks, inviting screened rooms, and elegant porch overhangs. Imagine enjoying a crisp morning coffee on your beautifully designed deck, or hosting gatherings in a spacious screened room. Lakeside turns your vision into reality. Our skilled craftsmen use top-notch materials to create spaces that stand up to the elements and stand out in style. Elevate your lifestyle with Lakeside's outdoor living expertise. Visit our showroom or call Lakeside Renovation and Design today.
Surprise!
Surprise!
You know, surprise parties, they can be fun, right? Well, financial surprises, not so much, especially when you're retired, like finding out you owe more in taxes than you thought you would, or having to go back to work to make ends meet. Maybe you think you'll be okay, but why not double check just to be sure? Call Marvin Mitchell at Compass Retirement Solutions and schedule a retirement double check. Marvin and his team have been helping families plan for retirement for more than 15 years. Call 314-373-1598 to schedule your retirement double check with Marvin Mitchell at Compass Retirement Solutions. That's 314-373-1598. Don't let a financial surprise derail your retirement dreams. Give Marvin and the team a call, 314-373-1598. Firm offers insurance services, investments, and services offered through Compass Retirement Group, a registered investment advisory in Missouri and in Illinois.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-652-5241 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-652-5241. That's 800-652-5241. What do you have to lose? Call 800-652-5241. Again, 800-652-5241.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
If you've been injured in a car wreck, you need the best. Let us make your case our cause. Car accident? Call Onder Law for a free review at 314 or 618-9000000.
Today's YouTube live chat poll: do you cross a major bridge multiple times a week? The options are almost daily, occasionally, hardly ever, or no. Jump on our chat. Tell us which bridges you cross and let us know. We want to hear your opinion. The time is 12:51. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
You found 97.1 FM Talk, where we ask questions, even when the legacy media won't. Especially when the legacy media won't.
St. Louis is home for conservative talk.
97.1 FM Talk. This is the Annie Fry Show. Interact with Annie on Facebook. The Annie Fry Show.
When dreaming, you gotta tune all the world, time and time again. It's alright if I just stay asleep, 'cause I don't wanna leave the comfort of this place. 'Cause there's a hunger, a longing to escape from the life I live when I'm away. So let's go there. Let's make our escape. Come on, let's go there.
Welcome back to the Annie Fright Show. Appreciate you being here with us this afternoon. There's a lot of news happening right now, and it's kind of hard to keep up with everything that has developed in the last 24 hours, but we're going to do our best. Of course, we are going to try, and we're grateful that you're spending some of that time here with us this afternoon. If you haven't seen that video of the bridge collapse in Baltimore, a cargo ship, crashed into one of the stanchions holding up the bridge, and it just crumbled. The bridge is 1.6 miles long, and the whole thing didn't collapse, but the majority of it did. It's going to take quite a feat in order to repair what has been lost there. And there is an expected loss of life, and we're hoping and praying for the best in that scenario. We haven't had a conclusion yet to the people who are missing. One of the other stories that is out there right now, that is very, I don't know. I'm on the edge of my seat. There's just so much stuff that's going on, and I'm kind of skeptical about some of it, but I don't know the details. So I'll just give you this Fox News report. A music producer who sued Sean Diddy Combs for sexual assault in February added actor Cuba Gooding Jr. to his complaint Monday. Rodney Jones, known professionally as Lil Rod, accused Gooding of sexually harassing and assaulting him. In the new version of the suit obtained by Fox News Digital, the surgical producer claimed Gooding began assaulting him. I'm just kind of summing that up for the kiddos on spring break during a party on a yacht rented by Combs in the U.S. Virgin Islands in January of 2023. So yesterday I'm at the YMCA and I'm getting ready to do some moderate lifting. I was going to say heavy lifting, moderate lifting. And I stopped at my tracks and they got CNN up there. I was like, can we get that on Fox? I didn't ask, but I wanted to. And they got helicopters all over the top of Diddy's house and houses. There are multiple. And I'm like, oh my gosh, what is going on here? And it turns out it's Homeland Security, I think it was. Is that right? Homeland Security that's investigating him. This is one of those things that has been talked about. If you're on X with any regularity, there's like a whole bunch of things that people on X kind of accept to be true, and you become aware of these things, but I don't have enough evidence. And there's a large portion of me, just to be honest, that doesn't want these things to be true. But you pay attention, and then all of a sudden you're getting ready to work out or exercise or whatever, and CNN is covering helicopters above Diddy's house. He was in Miami at the time at a private airport. Diddy's airplane flew out of Southern California to, where did it go to?
This is an island in the Caribbean.
Antigua?
Yeah,
like
that might be it.
And a lot of people were like, Diddy fled the country, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I don't think, nobody's reported that he was on that plane. What's going on with that? What kind of details are we going to get about that? Because the allegations, where they've come from, and the people who could be enveloped in those allegations, it's a pretty wide net to cast. Remember when Harvey Weinstein, remember when that story started happening, and then all of a sudden one person after the other started coming out of the woodwork? It actually, to me, gave a lot of context. These women would go stand on a stage after they won an award, and they'd almost look tragically sad and talk about what they had to go through to get there. Harvey Weinstein gets in trouble, and I go, oh, well, that makes a little more sense why you're so frustrated with the way men have treated you over the course of your career. So I don't know what's going to happen next with that, but we're going to continue to cover it. Jim Carafano in a minute.
We're definitely going to be late to the concert. I feel like we should be there by now.
I'm just taking a little detour. I gotta fill up my gas tank, and I know this place a couple towns over where the gas is cheaper.
Are you serious? We're gonna be late for the concert because you're driving out of the way for cheaper gas? Just use Upside.
What's Upside?
Upside is the free cashback app that gets you real cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait, I can get cash back just for buying the gas I need anyway?
Yes, I use it all the time, and I've made around $200. Now pull over so you can download the Upside app before we miss the concert.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code CHEAP to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime, right to your bank, PayPal, or as a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code CHEAP for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code CHEAP for a 25 cents per gallon bonus. That's code CHEAP.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online at hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation to determine the ED medication that's best for you, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and a range of treatment options, including trusted generic alternatives to the name brands, at up to 95% off. ED is personal, and at Hims, so is treating it. Just go to hims.com/joy and get connected to a licensed medical provider online for free. with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit, hims.com/joy.
Well, there's a very good chance as you've driven down your street, you have admired houses in your neighborhood that have been covered in Rhino Shield, and you don't even know it, except if you pay close attention, you'll notice that they're not being repainted every couple of years. What I mean is same bright, vivid colors that you would choose with regular paint, except that Rhino Shield lasts, and you're going to get a 25-year warranty with it. I've got it on my house, and I mean it. It looks like it did the day they put it on. It lasts and lasts. It's lab tested to last that long against chipping or peeling or cracking. And they put this on businesses as well. Condo units from Springfield, Illinois, all the way down to the Lake of the Ozarks. You can find it. And my friend Darren will be happy to come over and give you a free evaluation of your home. All you have to do is call him. Tell him you heard Mark Cox talking about it. 877-25-RHINO or online at 877-25rhino.com.
KFTK FM Florissant. From the Under Law Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studio. 97.1 FM Talk. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
A Mayday call helps save lives. On Lisa Brady, Fox News. Maryland's governor says the crew of a cargo ship gave notice they had lost power just before hitting the Francis Scott Key Bridge, which collapsed. The Mayday call allowing officials to stop cars from going over. That bridge is a major route through the area around the port of Baltimore, and shipping could be disrupted for months. President Biden pledging help.
To the people of Baltimore, I want to say we're with you. We're going to stay with you as long as it takes. And like the governor said, you're Maryland tough, you're Baltimore strong, and we're going to get through this together. And I promise we're not leaving.
He wants the federal government to pay for bridge replacement to avoid delays. Fox Business's Grady Trimble is in Baltimore.
The Transportation Secretary, Pete Buttigieg, is here right now surveying the damage and helping, from the Biden administration standpoint in any way that they can, as those search and rescue crews are frantically trying to find 6 people who were on the bridge, construction workers who fell in after that ship rammed into a support beam, causing almost all of this 1.5 mile long bridge to collapse.
2 construction workers were pulled from the water during early morning hours, one of them with no injuries, the other receiving hospital treatment. The president's now heading to North Carolina to talk about health care and the economy, along with the vice president. Independent presidential hopeful Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is scheduled to announce his running mate at this hour. The U.S. Supreme Court hears arguments over an abortion pill.
We may not actually get to the merits of this case, which is how the FDA has handled loosening some of the security restrictions, the safety restrictions it had on the use of mifepristone, which is one of 2 abortion pills that are used for medicated abortions that we now know are the majority of abortions here in the U.S.
Fox's Shannon Bream at the Supreme Court reporting many justices appeared skeptical that anti-abortion doctors had standing to sue. America is listening to Fox News.
Can't sleep with this cold.
Honey.
Honey?
Honey, you need NyQuil Severe Honey.
NyQuil Severe Honey gives you powerful cold and flu symptom relief with a dreamy honey taste.
Feeling better, honey? Honey? I'll take that as a yes.
Try NyQuil Severe Honey for powerful cold and flu symptom relief. NyQuil Severe with honey flavor. The nighttime sniffling, sneezing, coughing, aching, fever. Honeylicious, best sleep with a cold. Medicine.
Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies candidates with the right skills, sends you great matches, then you can easily invite them to apply. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. See for yourself. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/free to try ZipRecruiter for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Chilly times going through our Tuesday afternoon, looking for a high of about 55. Still windy, though, little lighter wind than yesterday with a slow clearing process. Tonight, partly cloudy skies, light winds, 29 for the low. So a light frost and freeze away from the city. Wednesday, sunny and chilly, 52. Thursday, 62 and sunshine, 72 on Friday. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Don't miss the Mark Cox Morning Show's Spring Bourbon Fling at Clayton Wine House. Join me and Kim April 18th from 5:30 to 8. We'll sample Proof and Wood, RD1, Four Roses, and more. Get your tickets now before they're gone at 971talk.com/events.
Are you ready to smell better naked? I'm Dr. Shannon Klingman, the OBGYN creator of Lumi, the whole body deodorant that's clinically proven to control odor for 72 hours on pits, feet, privates, and beyond. It's pH optimized to safely and effectively control odor anywhere you have it, but wish you didn't. Plus, it's proven to work better than a shower with soap alone. Whether you shower twice a day or 3 times a week, Lumi works better. And who doesn't want zero body odor? With over 200,000 5-star reviews, I'm so sure you're going to love it, or you can return it for free.
There's a special offer for listeners. Use code 800 and get an extra $5 off a Lumi starter pack that comes with a solid stick, cream tube, free product of your choice, and ships free with code 800. LUME deodorant.com, code 800 for an extra $5 off a Lumi starter pack. Love it or return it for free. That's LUME deodorant.com, code 800.
Imagine having all the money you need for retirement, all the income, every month, guaranteed. That's Secure Future Investor, an indexed annuity tied to growth in the stock market, but without any risk of loss ever. It's guaranteed money for life income, no matter how long you live. Call 888-509-2228. 888-509-2228. Sponsored by GP Agency, Inc., Raleigh, North Carolina. Licensed in all states. Performance may vary. Consult with your financial professional before making an investment decision.
Are you the parent of a 2 to 7-year-old? Listen closely for an exciting free radio offer. By now, you've probably heard of ABC Mouse, the Parents' Choice Award-winning online learning program that's actually changing the lives of early learners everywhere.
ABC Mouse is like a little one-on-one teacher. It has helped her so much.
Right now, we're offering a special radio promo to try it free for a month, but you have to go to abcmouse.com/radio to claim your free month. That's abcmouse.com/radio.
Sponsored by Age of Learning.
Tune in to the Home Improvement Show, sponsored by Mosby Building Arts, Saturdays 12 to 1 p.m. on 97.1 for expert advice on remodeling, design, and construction. This live Q&A show begins at noon, or find podcasts at mosbybuildingarts.com.
Hello, my name is Chad Clayman with Clayman Group, where you can find us online at claymangroup.com, KLAMEN group.com. Do you have a house that you'd like to sell as is and not deal with the market? Maybe you have a tenant not paying the rent or a house in disrepair and you want a simple solution for your sale? We've been in business for over 88 years and we've helped thousands of people sell their house in as-is condition with no middleman involved. Reach out today at claymangroup.com, KLAMEN group.com, and receive an offer today.
The Annie Fry Show YouTube live chat poll of the day is sponsored by Ruler Foods. Low prices, no coupons. Ruler Foods.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
Now we're getting this new video into Fox News from the same area. You can see a migrant there using bolt cutters to make a hole in the razor wire at the border. Now, once the hole is big enough, he escorts dozens of illegal immigrants through the opening. This process continued until a Texas guardsman stepped in.
So there's Emily Campagna on Fox News, just kind of illustrating the video that they were showing as well, where you have this individual cutting the wires and letting the migrants come in, flowing in until the Texas law enforcement steps in. And Jim Carafano joins us once again, the senior counselor to the president and E.W. Richardson Fellow for International Engagement at the Heritage Foundation. Jim, I couldn't help but listen to the way Emily was explaining this person cutting the wire, telling people to come in, and then Texas is there to stop them. It sounds like Joe Biden to me.
Yeah, look, so
I mean, I don't know the reality of this, which is we're exponentially getting more illegal immigrants in the country every day, and all the attendant problems that go with that, the cost, the crime, the threats of terrorism, what happened in Moscow could easily happen here in any, not that I wish that any of this would happen, but in any auditorium or arena in the country. And an administration whose policy is to obfuscate the response and responsibility. I mean, the only thing we know for sure from the Biden administration is they actually don't want to change the situation on the ground. I mean, we have the president of Mexico basically tell the president of the United States that if you want me to slow immigration down so you can get reelected, you have to lift sanctions on Venezuela and Cuba, which, oh, by the way, would only send more illegal immigrants here. So who would have thought? I mean, so literally the American people have a choice either to believe what they see and accept that and all the consequences that go with that, or to just accept a government which just refuses to acknowledge reality.
Yeah, you mentioned Moscow, and there is discussion happening about who's responsible for what took place in Moscow. But I guess terrorists they're invested in instilling terror and reminding people that anything like that can happen at any time. They make people live in fear. Is Joe Biden not afraid of what could happen in the United States?
Well, let me give you an example. Let's just say, because everybody knows about this horrific accident we all woke up to this morning, that a ship lost power and basically just rammed into the Key Bridge outside of Baltimore. If that had been, if a group of ISIS had gotten on board that ship, killed the crew, and drove the ship into the boat, today we would walk up and say, we wouldn't just walk up and say, oh, gee, wasn't that a terrible thing yet? We'd walk up and say, oh, my God, that was the next 9/11. And this entire country would be terrified and angered beyond belief. And to your point is terrorism is different, right? People die, we're sad, we're angry, but a terrorist act happens. And we know that somebody is intentionally threatening the lives of innocents, and you can be next. And we turn to our government and we say, what are you going to do about this? So can you imagine, could you imagine what the Biden talking points would have been if the accident at the Key Bridge this morning had been a terrorist attack? We can almost write them now. Not my fault. Who could have known? Somehow it's Trump's fault. If you say we have to respond to this, well, you're a racist or anti-Islamic or anti-xenophobic or something, right? But so it's just that they will lie. They will just, their first instincts will be to lie to us more. Nobody's going to go to the microphone and say everything we've done in the last 3 years basically set us up for this, and we have failed you. And either I resign or I will change all of my policies tomorrow and fix this. We know they're not going to do that.
What rich soil we have created I can just think of, I don't know anything like you do, but like how many people would like for the United States to get knocked down a rung or 2 or 10 to be able to we've created an environment on our homeland where we are soft targets and feckless in our response to things because the only thing that counts is the political response.
Yeah, let's look at this from the other perspective. We spent 20 years building the infrastructure and the architecture and the capabilities to prevent the next 9/11, and we have spent the last 3 years dismantling them, either distracting them, changing their mission, not funding them, giving them something else to do, intentionally imposing policies which make their job impossible. It would be as if we knew World War II was coming, and we spent 20 years getting ready, and then 3 years disarming before it started.
It's absurd. I mean, when you and I talk about these things, whether it's the southern border or any other sort of national security concern that we have, and I'm going to be honest, as soon as I saw that bridge thing, my first question was, is this nefarious or is this just an incredible accident?
Right.
How is this so obvious? How is this such a reality and the Democrats are so able to get away with it?
So there's a couple of ways to look at it, and I don't live inside their head, so I don't know. I mean, one is it's an argument for the demonstration of the lack of accountability, right? When you don't actually pay a price for what you do. What is the inclination to do better, right? So when you have the DOJ protecting you, the media protecting you, the pundits protecting you, the universities protecting you, your allies making excuses for you, and you're never held accountable. It's like an addict. What's the motivation to change, to go sober, if everybody's an enabler? So that's one. Another way to look at it is just the incessant drive for power. I mean, think about the Olympian who puts everything in their life aside, their family, their children, their job, everything, and because they're obsessive on one goal, which is to be the fastest and get across the goal line. And you have a leftist thing in America that they want control, they want power, they want to run this country, and they're so obsessively focused on that end state that they've ignored everything else going on around them, as if America is literally collateral damage in their drive to power. Maybe a little of both.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think it is. I don't think we have a doddering president who doesn't know what he's doing. I think if there was a stone cold Joe Biden who was 26 years old, he would still be doing this.
Really? That's sad. I want to shift off the border and the bridge right now, but I want to play for you a clip from John Kirby on the UN vote and Netanyahu here.
We're kind of perplexed by this. A couple of points that need to be stated and, in fact, restated. Number one, it's a non-binding resolution, so there's no impact at all on Israel and Israel's ability to continue to go after Hamas. Number two, as I said in my opening statement, it does not represent a change at all in our policy.
John Kirby, they're perplexed that Netanyahu wouldn't be ready to come to Washington, D.C. with their delegation. Why would he be perplexed by that?
Right. So nobody should pay attention to what the United States says on the global stage, right?
Yeah.
We should ignore that. That's what John Kirby just said. It's a non-binding resolution. Just because we did this stupid vote doesn't mean it means anything. Okay, so why should we be held at our word? Every utterance that Donald Trump makes is the criteria for prison. But Joe Biden, it doesn't matter that we've said something on the world stage. That's an interesting comment. The second thing is doesn't really affect Israel at all. I mean, really, come on. I mean, at some point, when you work in the Biden administration, you have to think, how can I go to sleep at night? How can I rationalize this as okay? To find new ways to lie to the American people and just be fine. Either you're always a Rachel Maddow, and you're just obsessively whatever, or you're a good person and you got trapped in this and you can't find your way out. Because this is, for somebody to get up in front of an audience and say that's not normal.
Jim, when I wrote that down, nobody should pay attention to what we say. If John Kirby is saying we need the world to be smart enough to only watch what we do, it seems like he's trying to thread that needle by saying, except for Michigan and Minnesota, we need them to be dumb enough to only pay attention to what we say.
Well, look, I get the whole point. Watch what we do, not what we say. But we're not pushing, offensive weapons to Ukraine that needs to defend itself. We're not pushing support to Israel. So if you're saying watch what we do, not what we say, geez, that's even more scary. At least with Donald Trump, he might, say some things people thought were wacky, but then he would go out and do something really awesome. Like, what do you want? And is it just is it just about politics or just about Michigan? I don't think it's just about votes in Michigan, because actually I don't think if they care if they lose the election, because they'll just demonize Donald Trump for 4 years and they'll find some other Yahoo to run and they'll pick up where they left off. But this is a transformation of one of the major political parties in the United States that has now decided that American interests are trumped by activists. That's, you know what that is? That is the definition of populism, right? People get this, like, they always accuse Republicans and conservatives of being populist, and we are not populist in that way. The 20th century model of populism was people said, give me all your power and I'll take care of you. Now, they don't define what that means, but give me all your power and I'll make all the decisions for you. That's fascism and Nazism and communism, and that's a form of 20th century populism. We're populists in the old-fashioned way, which is we want our leaders to do the stuff that's good for us, and so we are the true old-fashioned populists, like the American Revolutionary populists. These guys are populists in the vein of they want power, and then they're going to do what they want. And so what the Democratic Party has told us is that activists that want 87 genders and and everybody to eat bugs and drive bicycles and make war on decent, innocent countries, they want all the power so they can do those things. That's their form of populism.
Jim, one last question before we let you go, because I know that you pay very close attention to national security as well. But I'm wondering if the degradation of law and order, the degradation of law enforcement, we're going to be speaking after we get done with you with Lieutenant Joe Gamaldi and he's with the Fraternal Order of Police. But we are seeing police be gunned down on a regular basis in this country. But career criminals, people who have been here and committed crime, and people who are coming here and committing crime. And it just seems like we can't figure out societally who the real bad guys are. We're not willing to say it out loud, and we're losing our officers.
Honestly, and this is somebody who comes from a long line of policemen. So many people in my family were in law enforcement. I can't even go through the numbers, but it's not we want a lawless society. Look, that's collateral damage. We want power and authority. If some cops get killed or some women get raped, that's just collateral damage. Some communities get destroyed, some, grocery stores get burned to the ground. Oh, it's just, you gotta make some sacrifices. And the problem is when the people you're elected to serve become the sacrifice for your goals and end state, there's a big disconnect there.
That's huge. Yeah, that's right. Jim, thanks for being with us today. We always appreciate your time.
Thanks, my friend.
Bye-bye. He's a senior counselor to the president and E.W. Richardson Fellow for International Engagement at the Heritage Foundation. On Twitter at JJ Carafano. You heard me say there, we're going to speak with Lieutenant Joe Gamaldi when we come back. He's the Fraternal Order of Police National Vice President. Another police officer gunned down in New York City yesterday. Career criminal, out on bond. The story repeats itself at a horrifying rate. And we're going to hear what Lieutenant Joe Gamaldi has to say about it when we come back. Don't go away.
Out of this world.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Fry Show.
It's all right if you're late. I just hope that you find your way soon. Shine down, light it up, wash it over.
AirComfortService.com, your website to check out all the rebates that are always available for you and the great financing options that are available for you should you have to replace the HVAC in your home. I want to explain to you how helpful it is to make sure you stay up to date with that regular maintenance on your HVAC system, because this is going to help you prevent costly repairs that come from you not knowing what to do with your HVAC, and you're just not thinking about it. I know you are not thinking about you're thinking about it right now because I brought it up, which is good. Have you changed the filters in your furnace? Are you making sure that everything is working the way it's supposed to be? Can you catch any of those untimely maintenance problems ahead of time so it's an easy an affordable fix as opposed to letting it go and go and go, and then all of a sudden you realize this HVAC unit is not working anymore. Reach out to Air Comfort Service. You can sign up for a monthly maintenance plan. Starts at the lowest, $15 per month. Pay monthly. You get your 12th month free as well. All the information is online at aircomfortservice.com.
Hi, this is Scott Trout of Cordell & Cordell. There are a lot of great dads out there. Sometimes those dads get divorced. For more than 30 years, we have represented men in divorce, confronting the pitfalls that could devastate your finances or harm your family relationships. While every situation is different, our goal is to get the best outcome for you and your kids. Visit CordellCordell.com to take the first step.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. 600 Kelwood Parkway, Suite 310, Town and Country, Missouri, 63017. CordellCordell.com.
Pizza's here.
Oh, great. I'd love some, but I'm worried about my stomach issues.
If you're worried about having diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose, oily stools, it may not just be stomach issues. It could be a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and talk to your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
When you're selling your home, you want the most money and the least hassle. That's exactly what you get when you work with my friend and trusted realtor, Gloria Liu, with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Mark Cox here. Selling your home is one of the biggest financial decisions you'll ever make. That's why having an expert on your side is crucial. Right now, other agents know that some sellers will choose the agent that tells them the highest price. This can be a dangerous strategy. Most of the time, it ends up being an empty promise. Gloria doesn't make empty promises. She makes guarantees in writing. It's simple. Gloria will guarantee to sell your home at your agreed-to price and time frame, or she'll buy it. Guaranteed in writing. Take it from me. Pick up the phone and call Gloria Liu at 314-325-6888. That's 314-325-6888. Or visit her online anytime and tell her you heard Mark Cox talking about it. GloriaHasTheBuyers.com.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-652-5241 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-652-5241. That's 800-652-5241. What do you have to lose? Call 800-652-5241. Again, 800-652-5241.
You're listening to the Annie Fry Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Air Comfort Service is hiring licensed journeymen. Don't have a journeyman license? Air Comfort Service will help you get it. Get guaranteed hours year-round and more. Apply online at aircomfortservice.com.
St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
The Mark Reardon Show.
Tuesday afternoon, Curtis Houck from Newsbusters on Leslie Stahl's ridiculous freedom of speech story on 60 Minutes on Sunday night.
Weekdays from 3 to 6 on 97.1 FM Talk. You're listening to The Annie Fry Show on St. Louis's home for conservative talk. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Fry Show.
We are just footsteps away from where Officer Diller was killed in the line of duty during what should have been a routine traffic stop. Now, this pole that you see right behind me, those flowers were posted up moments ago. This, as many are in sorrow for this officer who was with the department for 3 years. Now, we're going to get straight to some video right now. We're told this happened yesterday here at 1919 Mott Avenue, about 10 minutes before 6 yesterday evening. Now, cops tell us a pair of officers stopped a vehicle which had 2 men inside because it was parked illegally at a bus stop when officers asked the suspects, who police say is a 34-year-old Guy Rivera, accused of the shooting, and 41-year-old Lindy Jones, to step out of the car. The suspect in the passenger seat refused, pointed a gun at the officers, striking Diller in the torso just below a bullet-resistant vest, while the officer's partner returned fire, striking the suspect in the back, and Diller was taken to the hospital but could not be saved.
It's such a tragedy, and it's hard to hear that. This young officer losing his life at the hands of a criminal who has been leading a life of crime. Jonathan Diller, a 1-year-old child and a wife that he leaves behind. And he wore the badge, and he gave his life behind that badge. And it's yet another tragedy, a story that we see all too often and doesn't get the airtime that it deserves, which is why we're doing that here today on the Annie Frey Show. Lieutenant Joe Gamaldi joins us now. He is the Fraternal Order of Police National Vice President. Lieutenant, thank you for being with us here today to talk about Jonathan here, but also to give us a little bit of a broader picture of what's happening right now in the United States of America.
Yeah, well, obviously, my thoughts and prayers are with Officer Diller's family, his friends, the NYPD. I can't imagine and explain the grief to y'all of what everybody is experiencing right now. But the worst part about this horrific tragedy is that it was completely avoidable. This dirtbag who gunned down this officer in cold blood had been arrested 21 times. I didn't misspeak. 21. And he's in his early 30s, so he's averaging a couple arrests per year since he's been an adult. He never should have been free in the first place to murder this officer. But this officer's death is just a stark reminder of the war on cops in this country that is raging, that no one seems to want to talk about, Annie. We had 378 police officers shot last year. That is a record since we started tracking the data back in 2015. It is a 60% increase in officers shot since 2018. And it just continues to roll on. This year, it's not getting any better. We're already outpacing those numbers by 7%. Ambush attacks are through the roof, over 115 last year. And you know, when I talk about the war on cops, I don't want to just complain about the problem. I actually want to offer solutions. And here's a thought. Maybe we could stop this ridiculous failed social experiment of the revolving door criminal justice system, because 85% of cop killers have been arrested before. 71% of them are convicted felons. And I don't know, maybe the leader of our country, because I'm old school and think that the leader should set the tone, maybe Joe Biden could actually condemn the violence against law enforcement. But we haven't heard a peep from the White House. Not a word about this historic violence against law enforcement. Maybe House Republicans could get their butts in gear and pass the Protect and Serve Act, which would make it a federal crime to knowingly assault a police officer. And on a local level, police chiefs need to make sure that they're providing ambush training for officers so that we can be prepared for situations like this. And, you know, finally, how about we just stop treating cops like crap in this country?
Yeah. Amen. I mean, say it again and say it loud. We're sitting here in St. Louis, and we have had our fair share of concern with the mistreatment of police officers. They're incredibly important to the safety and security of the city, and the enforcement, the actual follow through of convicting criminals and making sure that everybody is very clear who the criminals are and who the victims are. The blurred lines everywhere have led us to this point, and it's a variety of fronts that police officers and their spouses and their children and their mothers and their fathers, they all know what it means for that individual to put on the uniform and the badge and to go out and go to work. There's a huge risk involved. Do you think this is is this a political problem that we have right now? Could this be solved by better policy, or do you think it's as cultural as it is political?
I think there's a number of factors. I think it's cultural. I think it's political, but I think there's also additional funding that could certainly help for police officers. But basically what has happened in this country is that politicians and grifters and some of those in the media realized they could make money and they could garner influence by treating police officers like scum in this country. And they just ran with it. And they didn't think of the collateral damage of what that would cause by reducing the legitimacy of police officers in their neighborhood, by constantly ramping up the anti-police rhetoric. And it basically gave criminals a free pass, like, yeah, go ahead and assault cops. And, you know, it's not hyperbole when I say that we're going to work with targets on our backs every day. Just look at the NYPD. Last year, they had their highest ever recorded assaults on police officers in their history. I mean, what bigger wake-up call do folks actually need to say that we need to prioritize? And just, I'll give you an example. If this were journalists who are being assaulted at this rate, or another one that was popular was they wanted to pass a law to protect poll workers. How many poll workers have been assaulted in the last year or shot dead? None. But no, when it's law enforcement, we don't even talk about it. President can't even make a statement about it. There needs to be a wholesale cultural change regarding how we treat police officers in this country, because it should not be socially acceptable to allow this violence. We're not some third world country where a cop should just be assassinated every single day and it doesn't raise an alarm. I mean, and just for perspective, there is a police officer shot in this country once every 23 hours. Let me say that again. Once every 23 hours, there is a cop shot in this country, and nobody's talking about it.
Man, well, you certainly are. Lieutenant Joe Gamaldi with us. You are an officer at the Houston Police Department. You are also the Fraternal Order of Police National Vice President. And we're grateful that you gave us some time here on this show today. What do you, I talk to people in our community here in St. Louis. I live in Illinois, so I know a lot of what is being invested in and not invested in. I know in Chicago, it's not the criminals they want to go after. It's the car manufacturers who make their cars too simple to break into. We live in the upside down. What can an everyday listener to the show right now do to support what you're talking about, to support the families of those who do put that uniform every day on and go out into the field to protect and serve?
You know, I would tell your listeners, I know everybody is busy. I know you got to get the kids to soccer practice after school. You got to get them over to practice. You got to get dinner made. But you have to be involved. And that could be as simple as sending an email to your council member and make sure that you understand you don't want the police defunded in your neighborhood, that you want safe streets. Make sure they hear from you. I know you can't go down to council and wait 3 hours and yell and scream like all these activists who don't have a job and don't do anything for a living. I know you can't do that, but you can do that. You can send an email. You can make a phone call. Make sure you're involved. And when these elections come around, do your research and make sure that you vote accordingly. And I know the whole room, all the oxygen is going to be sucked out of the room for a national election coming up. But focus on those local races, because that is going to be the biggest impact on your community. We're talking school board, we're talking DAs, we're talking city council or county executive, whatever your structure is of government there. If those people are not standing on a bedrock platform of law and order, vote their asses out. Because that is what starts everything for a prosperity of a community. To make sure that we have businesses that feel safe and can operate there. To make sure that our schools safe. It all starts with public safety. So folks, please invest that time. And if you see a police officer out on the street, just say thank you. You have no idea what that means to us. You will make our day. So just say thank you. Give us a smile. It would be greatly appreciated. And for those of you who are supporting us, thank you so much. You have no idea what it means to us.
We're speaking with Lieutenant Joe Gamaldi, and I encourage you to follow him on X at Joe Gamaldi. You can go to FOP.net as well. Have you sensed at all that there is an urgency with society right now? We went into 2020 was a very, very hard year for police officers, for their families, the people who love those in uniform. We're 4 years departed from that almost now. Is the pendulum swinging back? Can you sense that society is like, that was not the right way for us to handle the situation with our police and our communities?
Yes, I've certainly saw the pendulum swing back. And obviously the overwhelming majority of Americans are supporting police officers, but we still have these complete Looney Tunes on the far left that, as your point, want to hold car companies responsible for people that are constantly stealing cars. I mean, or we still have city councils that do not treat their officers with any kind of respect and don't want to fund them properly. I mean, just look at Baltimore back in 2020. They defunded their police department. You know what unit got cut? The Marine unit. You think maybe it would have been a good idea to have some boats on the water the other night when that tragedy happened? So I think people just need to understand that, yes, the pendulum has shifted, but we are getting constant attacks from those on the far left that still want to defund police departments and that still want to prosecute officers when they're doing their job the right way. I mean, if a police officer colors outside the lines, they should be held accountable. But you know what? If we're following policy, training, and the law, we should be supported not only by the community, not only by elected officials, but by our own police chiefs who shouldn't be throwing police officers under the bus when they're doing the job the right way.
Amen. Lieutenant Joe Gamaldi, thank you for your time today and that direction as well on how people can get involved, because we often look at elections and push things off until the next cycle gets here and hope that the right person gets in there and makes a difference. But certainly listening to you, Lieutenant, there are things that we can individually do to strengthen our own communities, and it's imperative that we do step up and do so.
Thanks for having me on.
Thank you so much. Lieutenant Joe Gamaldi, a Fraternal Order of Police National Vice President. He's an officer himself at the Houston Police Department, and he was here with us on the Annie Fry Show to talk about the tragic passing, murder, I should say, of police officer Jonathan Diller in New York City. Got shot at a routine police stop just below the vest. It's incredibly sad. I should do a better job of talking about this more, and I'm going to make a commitment to try to do that and follow these stories to make sure it stays top of mind in the midst of an incredibly crazy news cycle. It's important that we do keep our eyes squarely focused on the right things. Let's take a quick break. When we come back, we know that the NTSB, have they started their stuff yet? Okay, they were supposed to start at 1:30. These things never start when they say they are. We're watching for the NTSB to give an update on the bridge collapse in Baltimore after that cargo ship struck the stanchion and brought the whole thing down after a mechanical failure, which is what they're saying right now. We'll find out when that airs. Jack Posobiec on the Annie Fry Show at 2:05. We're going to talk about his book. It's called Unhumans, The Secret History of Communist Revolutions and How to Crush Them. Should we be thinking right now about how to crush communist revolutions? Jack thinks so. We'll talk to him about it at 2:05. We'll be right back.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Fry Show.
Okay, I've been waiting to talk to you about this for a while because I got a little hint that this was coming at Ruler Foods. When you are looking to buy, are you looking to buy eggs this week? I think you are. You know you're going to dye some Easter eggs. 99 cents each, 99 cents a dozen for eggs at Ruler Foods. They're going to limit you to 4, but that's a lot of eggs. You dyeing that many eggs? I hope you are. 48 eggs, that's pretty great. If you are looking to save on your Easter dinner, your Easter egg hunt, you want to go to Ruler Foods and you want to make sure that you enjoy the savings there. And eggs is one of the things that they always have priced low. And right now you can get a limit of 4 for 99 cents each. They also have strawberries and blackberries available for you. A pound of strawberries or 6 ounces of blackberries for $1.47 each. Pepsi, Mountain Dew, and Starry 12 packs. 4 for $16 when you buy 4. Make sure your grocery dollars are going as far as they possibly can when you shop at Ruler Foods. It's very simple to do. Find the Ruler Foods that's closest to you by going online, typing in your zip code at rulerfoods.com.
Proper insulation in your home or business can save you money every month. The insulation experts at Koala Insulation of Gateway West in Metro East Illinois deliver efficiency and improved comfort. Big or small, Koala has you covered. Call or text Koala Insulation of Gateway West in Metro East Illinois at 314-756-5661 and find them on Facebook or check out the reviews at koalainsulation.com/gateway-west.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6986. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. There is zero risk to you. If we can't reduce your tax debt, then you pay nothing. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have a 5-star rating on Google and Yelp and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6986. That's 800-575-6986. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
The time is 1:42. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
JerryKelly.com.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. We want to take you straight to the press conference right now with the NTSB. The chair, Jennifer Homendy, is speaking right now in the wake of the bridge collapse in Baltimore.
Jennifer Homendy, and I'm the chair of the National Transportation Safety Board. Normally, our investigator in charge, his name is Marcel Muse, M-U-I-S-E. His first name is M-A-R-C-E-L. Marcel Muse is our investigator in charge for this investigation, but just given on scene today, it's very early. I've asked that he remain at the command post to continue what he is doing so that I can brief you on what we're doing so far. Also with me is one of our newest board members. This is Alvin Brown, and this is his training launch. So the NTSB arrived on scene at 6 a.m. To investigate an accident involving a Singapore-registered vessel with the name Dali, D-A-L-I, which made contact with the Francis Scott Key Bridge in Baltimore, Maryland at around 1:30 a.m. this morning. The vessel is 985 feet long. It's a 95,000 gross ton container ship. I've seen information about crew members on board. We still need to verify the numbers of crew on board and their status. Under our Memorandum of Understanding with the Coast Guard, the NTSB is leading this investigation. The Coast Guard will support this investigation. Our Memorandum of Understanding, for example, provides for when an accident involves another mode of transportation and other factors, the NTSB will lead that investigation. Now, I want to thank the U.S. Coast Guard. We have a very cooperative relationship with the U.S. Coast Guard. I particularly want to thank Deputy Commandant for Operations, Vice Admiral Gautier. I want to thank Admiral Gilbreth, who's commander of the 5th Coast Guard District, and Captain O'Connell, who's the sector commander. Before I go on behalf of the NTSB, I want to extend our deepest sympathies to those who have been affected by this significant event. The NTSB, as I mentioned, does many significant transportation events, not just aviation. We do accidents and incidents in marine safety as well, and of course with bridges and other highway infrastructure. And for this, there were many that were affected by this collapse, and our deepest sympathies go out to the families, loved ones, and others who have been affected. I'm going to get questions on fatalities and injuries, which I'm not going to answer. That is not something that the NTSB answers. I will refer you to local authorities on all of that information. What I can tell you is a search and rescue is still underway. So we are very hopeful, and again, our thoughts are with the families and their loved ones. Again, we got here at 6 a.m. And we are standing back to allow the Coast Guard and Search and Rescue to continue their search and rescue operations while we gather information from the command post. There is a lot of information that we can begin to collect. We have a team of 24 on scene, including Member Brown and me. The team of experts include experts in nautical operations, and what they're going to look at and begin to collect is information on vessel operations, safety history, safety record. They'll look at the owner, they'll look at the operator, and they'll look at the operations this day. Today, they will also look at company policy, any sort of safety management system or safety management program will be looked at by them, and our human performance team as well. We have a human performance expert here. We have an engineering team. We have survival factors, and then we have a team here that is getting the recorders. We also have a highway safety team, our team out of the Office of Highway Safety, including structural engineers, bridge experts who will be here and are continuing to come in. We have a few here, and one or two others are coming in the next few hours. We also have our family assistance team on site, and our family assistance team works with those that were affected by a particular event, families, friends, and other loved ones, and they will help them get in touch with the resources they need while also providing them with the information that they need as we move forward with our investigation. This is a team effort. There are a lot of entities right now in the command post, all focused on search and rescue, as they should be. But I do want to, in particular, thank the Coast Guard, the Maryland Transportation Authority Police, the Federal Bureau of Investigations, the Baltimore Fire and Rescue, and the Maryland State Police. I also know that there are others on scene I'm sure I have missed. For example, Army Corps of Engineers is here, a great deal of expertise, and all focused on what is very important, which is the people first. I have been in contact with my counterpart in Singapore. Director Chong is the director of the Transport Safety Investigations Board. The NTSB maintains relationships with our counterparts in other countries often and stay in close communication. So the director and I have been in communication many times before on safety, so it was a good conversation. He is sending some personnel here tomorrow. Also, personnel will be arriving from the Maritime and Port Authority of Singapore, who has the focus of being the regulator in Singapore. Now, it's not a lot of information that I can share at this time, and I know there's a lot of information that seems to be circulating. The NTSB doesn't speculate. We provide facts. And so there isn't a lot we can share right now because the focus has been on the people. However, if you know me, I like to provide information as we can when we're able to verify those facts and be open about that. Transparency is one of our mandates, one of our core values. So please monitor ntsb.gov and X, where we will post when we were having another media briefing. We do have an organizational meeting tonight at 5 o'clock, which I mentioned, to determine where we want to go next on the investigation. But there's a lot of information we need to gather between now and then in the days and weeks that follow. So with that, I am going to take questions. I will call on you. Please state your name and your affiliation. We'll start with Tom and then go over here.
Thank you, Chair Halmandy. Tom Costello with NBC News. You spoke of one of the teams within this NTSB structure looking for specifically the reporters on board the ship. Can you speak to what type of reporters may be on board the ship, and what do you hope that what information might they provide?
Yeah, at this time, I will have more information about the recorders tomorrow. We chose not to board the vessel today to allow some time for the search and recovery, which we did not want to interfere with. That is the first and foremost. We do have some information, but we need to verify that information first before I provide that information, before I verify it. So we'll have that information tomorrow, or maybe later tonight if you want to check with me. Yes.
Sabina with ABC News. How long will the search go on for today?
The search is, it's a question on how long the search will go on today. The NTSB is not in charge of the search and rescue operation. That is the U.S. Coast Guard, so I would refer you to the Coast Guard for that information. Yep.
Hi there, Nicole Skanga, CBS News. Were the tugs pulled loose before the ship lost control, and can you give us a rough timeline of when they were pulled loose? And also curious just what you can tell us about the timeline, how much time lapsed between the pilot notifying authorities and the actual crash.
Yeah, there's a question on the tugs and the timeline. Again, I know this is all information you're looking for. The information we get, which often happens in a large event where there are a lot of entities, is there is conflicting information. The NTSB focuses on the facts, so we will figure that out and be able to provide that information in the coming days. Today is far too early for that.
So we've been listening to Jennifer Homendy, the NTSB chair, giving a press conference. It looks a lot like she was able to acknowledge a lot of the people who have been putting extra effort into the aftermath of this cargo ship out of Singapore, from what I understand. And she is not answering a lot of questions because they don't have a lot of answers. And she also isn't involved in the search, as they said. So we'll wait and see if more information develops. I know that this is a story of great national interest, and we want to be there to cover it. I know that I definitely want to know more about what led up to the collision between this cargo ship and the Key Bridge there in Baltimore. Really quite something. The YouTube live chat poll for today: do you cross a major bridge multiple times a week? Almost daily, occasionally, hardly ever, or no? I know a lot of people, myself included, if you were having to go across a bridge today, you just had a thought cross your mind that maybe you didn't have traditionally on your way to work. And it was just like you just kind of go a little faster over the bridge, maybe. It's a very frightening thing to take in. So we will wait and see what the developments are with that as we get them. Also, RFK Jr. is supposed to be announcing his vice presidential candidate soon. And I think there are rumors out there about who it's going to be, that it's going to be a female entrepreneur. And when I saw the rumors out there of who it was likely going to be, and I didn't know that person, I thought to myself, maybe the VP pick is more consequential for RFK Jr. than it is for anybody else, because it would give his ticket even more standing. You got to get to know the person on the main part of the ticket running in that presidential race, and you're running against two people who have had the job already. RFK Jr. has probably got as much name recognition being a Kennedy as anybody could have coming into that race, but taking him seriously as an alternative to people who don't want to vote for Donald Trump or don't want to vote for Joe Biden. People are going to want to know a lot more about him if they're looking for that alternative opportunity to vote. So you're going to keep it right here. When we come back, Jack Posobiec is going to be with us. I'm looking forward to having a conversation with him. His book is out in July. You can pre-order it right now. Unhumans: The Secret History of Communist Revolutions and How to Crush Them. And I'm going to ask him, are communist revolutions, is that a thing of right now? That sounds like a history book thing, doesn't it? Is it amongst us? Are we right now in a position where we need to understand the ways of these people who live an antithesis interests of ours here in a capitalistic country like the United States of America? Jack will tell us when we come back. Don't go away.
Right now and ask yourself, are you currently receiving steady paychecks? What about when you're retired? Will you receive a monthly check to cover your expenses and also have some fun? Marvin Mitchell and the team at Compass Retirement Solutions calls this mailbox money. It's a monthly check you'll receive throughout retirement. They don't want you to worry about if the money will show up or how much money you'll receive. The only thing they want you to think about is how to spend it when it arrives. Find out how to get enough money in your mailbox every month when you're retired. Call Marvin Mitchell and the Compass Retirement Solutions team at 314-373-1598 to start working on a plan that can help you create the monthly income you'll need in retirement. Call 314-373-1598 right now and schedule a visit with Compass Retirement Solutions. 314-373-1598. Firm offers insurance services, investments, and services offered through Compass Retirement Group, a registered investment advisory in Missouri and Illinois.
Let's talk garage doors.
Your garage door. Is it too loud? Or letting cold or hot air in around the frame? Overhead Door Company of St. Louis will make it all better. In March only, they will perform their full 26-task garage door tune-up for just $79 and just in March. That's just $79 for up to 3 garage doors and openers. You need this done once a year, so why not now? And for just $79. Schedule now at overheaddoorsstlouis.com.
Are you the decision maker in your company? Consider this. For the first time in decades, there's a better option for a corporate card and spend management platform. Meet Ramp, the only corporate card and spend management system designed to help you spend less money so you can make more. Most corporate credit cards offer points as incentives, but those points amount to less than their worth in real cash value. Ramp's corporate cards offer you cash back, real money in your pocket. Plus, you control who spends what with each vendor. And Ramp's software collects and verifies receipts automatically, which means you'll stop wasteful spending and close your books in hours instead of days. Businesses that use Ramp add up to 5% to their bottom line the first year. If you're a decision maker, adding Ramp could be one of the best decisions you've ever made. And now get $250 when you join Ramp. Just go to ramp.com/free. Ramp.com/free. RAMP.com/free.
Cards issued by Sutton Bank and Celtic Bank, members of FDIC. Terms and conditions apply.
Are you tired of feeling sick and tired? I'm Dr. Nick Barnes of Health From Within Family Chiropractic. Our simple 5-step approach aligns your health naturally. We correct spinal abnormalities to maximize nerve supply, focus on pure and simple nutrition, exercise and oxygen, mindset, and minimizing toxins in your body. Transform your health today with Health From Within, conveniently located on Manchester in Rock Hill or online at healthfromwithinstl.com.
KFTK FM Florissant. From the Under Law Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studio. 97.1 FM Talk. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Search and rescue remains the focus for now. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. That from federal safety investigators, with 6 people still missing after a cargo ship lost power and hit a major bridge in Baltimore, causing the bridge to collapse early today.
This is a team effort. There are a lot of entities right now in the command post, all focused on search and rescue as they should be.
NTSB Chair Jennifer Homendy says it's too soon to confirm how many cars were on the bridge when the ship hit a support beam. 2 construction workers were pulled out of the water early today, 1 not injured and 1 hospitalized. As that search continues, President Biden wants the federal government to pay for reconstruction, even if the shipping company is ultimately liable.
We're not going to wait for that to happen. We're going to pay for it to get the bridge rebuilt and open.
Adding he expects Congress to support those efforts. The FDA's decisions expanding access to the abortion pill mifepristone are before the U.S. Supreme Court, where abortion supporters and opponents have been rallying.
In 2016 and 2021, the FDA allowed doctors to prescribe the drug remotely and send it through the mail. It reduced the recommended dose, expanded eligibility from 7 weeks of pregnancy to 10, and approved a generic version. The administration argues that the FDA relied on voluminous medical evidence to initiate these changes.
Fox's Rich Edson at the Supreme Court, where justices are also weighing whether the plaintiffs, led by anti-abortion doctors, have standing to sue in that case. Just getting word that a judge has issued a gag order banning former President Trump from commenting on witnesses, prosecutors, court staff, or jurors in his New York hush money-related case. This after he posted multiple comments earlier today online. America is listening to Fox News.
Oh, this cold.
Honey?
Honey?
Honey, you need DayQuil Severe Honey.
DayQuil Severe Honey gives you powerful cold and flu symptom relief with a honeylicious taste, because life doesn't stop for a cold.
Okay, I'm ready to go.
Now I'm getting a cold.
Honey. Try DayQuil Severe Honey for powerful cold and flu relief. DayQuil Severe with honey flavor. The daytime coughing, aching, stuffy head, fever, honeylicious, power through your day medicine. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies candidates with the right skills, sends you great matches, then you can easily invite them to apply. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. See for yourself. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/free to try ZipRecruiter for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Chilly times going through our Tuesday afternoon, looking for a high of about 55. Still windy, though, little lighter wind than yesterday with a slow clearing process. Tonight, partly cloudy skies, light winds, 29 for the low, so a light frost and freeze away from the city. Wednesday, sunny and chilly, 52. Thursday, 62 and sunshine, 72 on Friday. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-652-5241 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-652-5241. That's 800-652-5241. What do you have to lose? Call 800-652-5241. Again, 800-652-5241.
Mortgage rates have finally dropped. That's right. Golden Oak has 5.375% fixed rates available right now. Our average cash-out customer saves over $1,000 a month. Call today and take advantage of our 5.375 fixed rate. Call 314-567-GOLD. That's 314-567-GOLD.
Golden Oak Lending, cured my blues.
5.934 APR. FHA 15-year 20% equity qualified credit. Additional terms apply. NMLS 114937.
To have a roof over your head, a nice roof over your head, is very important.
That's Rick talking about his experience with Rhino Shield ceramic coating.
We got Rhino Shield 18 years ago, and they were very cooperative on getting us the right paint. They were in and out and done in no time. Once it was finished, looked great. We were very happy with it.
The main reason Rick called Rhino Shield is because it's backed by a 25-year transferable warranty.
We've watched a lot of people get their house painted 3 or 4 times, and we haven't had to do any of it. I don't know about you guys, but I don't want to have to paint it every 5-7 years.
Take a tip from Rick and put down the paintbrush and call Rhino Shield for your free evaluation. 877-25-RHINO. 877-25-RHINO. Or visit 877-25rhino.com.
We got Rhino Shield 18 years ago. Financially makes sense, especially if it's going to last like this did. Still looks great.
Call now. 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com.
Don't paint, don't Rhino, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Download the free Upside app and earn real cash back every time you buy gas. Download the free Upside app now and use promo code GIFT for an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first fill-up. That's promo code GIFT.
You found 97.1 FM Talk, where we ask questions, even when the legacy media won't. Especially when the legacy media won't.
St. Louis is home for conservative talk.
97.1 FM Talk. The Annie Fry Show YouTube live chat poll of the day is sponsored by Ruler Foods. Low prices, no coupons. Ruler Foods.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us, that's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. Happy Tuesday. It's quite a day, a news cycle today, but of course, if you flipped on the news, you certainly couldn't have avoided seeing that cargo ship crash into the Key Bridge in Baltimore, bringing the bridge down. It just crumbled. It just fell. And there's a lot of questions that are out there right now. We listened to the NTSB chair speaking. She did not have many answers. There are answers to be acquired. We just don't have them yet. So we will stay abreast of those issues as they develop. I'm very excited to bring our next guest onto the show. Jack Posobiec back with us here on the Annie Fry Show. Jack, thank you for coming back here with us. It's a really busy news day, but we're grateful you fit us into your schedule.
Hey, Annie, thanks so much for taking the time to have me on today. And, what can I say? This bridge for my family, this one hits home. This is a bridge that we drive over. So there's a drive-in theater that's right on the other side of this bridge that's been in operation since 1956. And I love taking my kids there. In fact, we were just looking at the airing schedule for this weekend, talking about, which one do we want to go to? Do we want to see the new Ghostbusters, et cetera? And we always take this bridge over because my kids, they call it the dinosaur bridge because it kind of looks like a brontosaurus, or at least it did until this morning. And when we woke up this morning and saw this news and getting them ready for school, and I had to tell them the truth about what happened, and it hit pretty hard that that something like this could happen. What a childhood to be going through this. And at my son's school, I just got the letter from the principal and all this. It's very, very, I'd say we're at about a half hour from there. So it's very, very close to home for us.
I didn't realize that you were that close to it. And I think, you're a parent. I've got 4 kids myself, and my youngest is 2 years old. My oldest is 14. But the stuff that's going on in the world, it's pretty ugly. And I actually said to my husband, if we can avoid, my kids are on spring break, if we can avoid our kids seeing the bridge collapse for the day until we can kind of explain it to them, I'd really like to be able to shield them from that. And I really feel like story after story after story that children today in America, of all places, are being exposed to. It just doesn't seem like it was in the 80s and the 90s when I was growing up. Maybe we just have access to more information, but it seems different right now.
No, I think that's right on both elements. So, of course, there is more crime certainly now today than there was in the 90s. And because of that, we have kids that are becoming more and more aware of it on a regular basis. But at the same time, media is now everywhere. It used to be that you could close the newspaper or turn the TV off and there was no more media. So that meant there was no more news. Now news is on every phone. It's on every screen. It's in your pocket on these little pieces of glass that we carry everywhere with us. And it jumps out at you if you have your notifications on, like so many people do. I don't. I actually am completely against that, and I urge people to turn off notifications. And I say that as someone who conducts a lot of business, obviously, on social media. But at the same time, I think that people need to reclaim power over themselves if we're ever going to take power over this country and defeat the unhumans, which I would argue if Team Humanity ever wants to win, and we've put this book out called The Unhumans, and basically said that this is the force that Team Humanity is up against. And we're now sitting at number 33 on Amazon, and it's been a wild success, much, much more than I ever expected when we announced this thing. I said, maybe we'll sell a couple of copies. And it's just been, a story that we're trying to explain about what it is that we're going through right now. And I didn't think of it as a framework to explain to children, but perhaps it can give parents and grandparents an idea that what we're living through is not normal. What we're living through is not the norm. What we're living through is not the way things ought to be. And unfortunately, we are going through a crisis period right now. And there's lots of different names for it, and we talk about it in the book. But what it does is offer people a way out. And it offers people a way out because we can understand that we have to get away from this belief that people should be put in positions of power because of their looks, because of their gender, because of any of their immutable characteristics other than their merit, their skill, their talent, their achievement. And if we just embrace those things again, we can actually return to a country, I believe it firmly, where we have wonderful cities where we are the envy of the world, where our cities and our highways and our bridges, our airports are the pride of the world. And once again, we become that humanity that's reaching to the stars. And so that's why I didn't want to put a book together that was depressing and just more outrage.
Yeah.
So everyone can do. Yeah, I can do that all day long. But what's the point?
Yeah.
Is if you're not showing people a way forward, and that's what we do in the book.
Jack Posobiec with us right now, author of a book you can go pre-order right now. We had the Amazon link up there before we started the interview. It's coming out in July, and it's doing very well already. It's called Unhumans, The Secret History of Communist Revolutions and How to Crush Them. And you kind of took one of my questions. I'm glad you did, and put the ball in the tee for me, because you're offering a solution after identifying the problem. There's a whole industry right now in the United States of America and globally where they want to identify problems, profit off of them, and if the problem gets solved, the profit would end. So that is a very depressing place to be. First, I want to ask you, what is Unhumans? How do you define the title of your book?
Sure. So it's very simple. The idea that that there are people who have decided to enter into, most people enter into politics or enter into business or enter into society, and they say they look around at their neighborhood, they look around at their neighbors or their friends or their fellow churchgoers or parishioners, and say, classmates, schoolmates, workmates, and they say, I want to make things better. I want to improve the conditions that we're all living in. I want to do something to be a leader in my community and do the right thing. And that is human. That is humanity. That is to share those reciprocal values that make us all human. However, there are other people who decide that they don't want to make things better. They want to tear things down. They want to tear down society. They want to tear down their situation. And maybe they're from a less endowed or a less fortunate area. Maybe they're of less fortunate means. Sometimes, not always, by the way, and increasingly not always, but that's an interesting psychological phenomenon that we see, that there are people who say, well, if there are those who have achieved, if there are those who have earned more, if there are those people who have the big house on the top of the hill, that I don't want to improve my lot and improve the lot of my fellows. I instead want to destroy that person, tear down their building, tear down that house, take everything that they have and make them as miserable and as I am. And they do this derived out of envy, which is, of course, one of the chief 7 deadly sins. And so in doing so, embracing cynicism and nihilism, this becomes the force of unhumanity, and this force that instead of building a civilization, what you would then attempt to do is build an anti-civilization, build a system whereby you would not be promoted because of your skill or your talent or your achievement. You'd be promoted because of your loyalty to the party, your loyalty to the cause. And of course, the most loyal people are going to be the people who don't have any alternative other than entering into these types of politics. So they will be the most fervent believers, the most fervent devotees of this. It's when you take a society, and this has been done throughout the years, and we go through system by system, case study by case study, and break out an entire analytical framework from the Roman Civil War thousands of years ago to the French Revolution, to the Chinese Revolution, to the Spanish Revolution, of course, the Bolshevik Revolution in Russia, all the way up to today. And we describe what happens when these forces of envy, of pride, and avarice are turned into a justification for political action, and then, of course, legal action, and even in some cases, military action.
It's interesting to think of it that way, because it's a lot deeper into the status quo right now in this country. I mean, it's very easy to think red, blue, Trump, Biden, and to be very surface level with it. And I try to chastise myself as much as anyone else to just think, like, let's just wait till November and hope the right guy wins and then everything will be solved. I mean, there's such a deeper cultural rot that exists right now, and it's a somewhat of a hopeless entity that a lot of people have in the way politics is played out and who's at the center of the decisions that are being made right now. That part of the title that you have here is about communist revolutions and the secret history of it, and I'm wondering, that sounds like history book stuff. Are you suggesting that people right now need to know how to crush communist revolutions in the present?
That's exactly right. And so what we talk about is, and this is drawing on my experience as a Navy intelligence officer is that warfare has changed over the course of the past several hundred years. And in the same way that warfare has changed, our politics have changed. And so in this case, these political revolutions have changed. We don't have, in wars, you don't see armies lining up in, these sort of Civil War or American Revolutionary War formations and going out to the field of battle like Gettysburg or something. No, you see increasingly more guerrilla warfare, technology is used, et cetera, et cetera. This is the same way that same generational change in warfare has been applied to these revolutions. And so in the same way that the current battlefield in any of the conflicts that are going on around the world today, whether it's Israel, Gaza, Russia, Ukraine, the United States, China, which is certainly in a bit of a Cold War right now, a competition for sure, is fifth generation warfare. This is the same as the current communist, or at least Marxist, really cultural Marxist revolution and cultural revolution that we find ourselves in. It is delineated on the basis of culture, and I think that's gone over in many other works, and a lot of people understand that. What we get into is the specific tactics of the cultural Marxists and how to stop those tactics and break those tactics with a plan that we've laid out. And what we define the current situation is an irregular communist revolution. This is why, by the way, you can like walk down the street, and you don't see people like fighting in the streets, and wherever you are, it might be a nice day. If it could be fine unless there's a bridge collapsing on your morning commute. But you go online and suddenly the culture wars are hot. They're waging. It's almost kinetic, right? And so the question is, what is the right descriptor for that? And what we define it as fifth generation irregular communist warfare.
Jack Posobiec with us right now. What needs to fail in order for this communist revolution to succeed? What are we looking for?
Well, so there's a few ways to do this. One of the ways to defeat a communist revolution, we call it the three defeats of communism. So the first one, of course, is to just sort of wait it out. This is what sort of happened with the Soviet Union. It took about 80 years. People know that my wife was born in the Soviet Union, sort of at the tail end of it. So she got to live through the collapse of her entire government. She got to live through the collapse of nations. And no one alive right now who hasn't lived through something like that wants to live through something like that. I will tell you right now, when suddenly there's no police, when there's no government, there's no authority, there's just complete anarchy, there's bandits, there's criminals, there's gangs. Everyone's kind of out for themselves in many ways. There's military forces, but nobody knows who's in control. That's not a great option. And of course, it takes about 2 generations at least until the looters have come in power and deplenish the resources of the treasury, which they founded. The next we talk about is the great men of means. And great men of means come along, and we see this in Spain. We see this in places like some of the Bolsheviks had a response from some Russian nobles, notably Pyotr Wrangel, and people who fought back with the White Army. And then, of course, we also see the final way to defeat it is, of course, just people individually forming networks, forming coalitions, working together to actually put the screws to the other side. And there's a very simple word that I think people, whether you're conservative, right-wing, centrist, moderate, even the good liberals, I have hope there's still some good liberals out there. I think there are. The word is reciprocity. The idea that if there's a group out there that's conducting doxing and harassing and censorship and canceling and all of the words that we all know about, they're not going to stop because you scold them. They're not going to stop because you beat them in some debate. They don't actually care about the things that they say. All they care about is defeating their opponents. And so these word games that a lot of conservatives get themselves into and tied up in knots saying, oh, we've pointed out your hypocrisy. Oh, we've pointed out your double standards. They don't care. Their only principle is winning. And the only way to fight back in a situation like that is reciprocity. You have to make them feel it too.
The book is Unhumans, and you can pre-order it right now through Amazon. We will tweet out a link to it here with our guest, Jack Posobiec. Thank you for being here with us. I would assume that what you're looking at right now, that it seems imperative that people read this probably before the election, and it's a precursor to potentially what could be existing in this country, but globally, we're in an incredibly unstable environment. We don't seem to have any leadership that cares first about America right now in place. Do you consider this like required reading before the November election this year?
Well, I certainly do think this is required before anybody goes to vote because, and it's what you just said, we're in an unstable world right now. It feels like everything's coming out of control. It feels like everything's falling apart. And our subtle twist, the reframe, as it were, that myself and my co-author Joshua Lysek put on all of this is that what if this isn't just unintended consequences of good intentions? What if, in fact, this is actually the intended consequences of bad intentions? And that, people say, oh, do you mean everyone on the left? No, 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 no. But I'm saying there are certain people in key nodes of power who do want the decline, who do want the decimation of the West, who want the managed decline of the United States. You saw this really break out during the second Obama term, and it's kind of been going on in what we would call in the military a low intensity conflict ever since the really 2013, 2014 uprisings that we saw, and the combination between social media activity and real world activity going all the way to, by the way, we mentioned Baltimore earlier, the Freddie Gray riots in 2015 were the very first riots that I ever covered, and we're almost at a decade since then. And so people need to understand that what's going on before your eyes right now is not an accident. It is being done because of a playbook that has been honed over literally centuries. And fortunately, once you understand that playbook, and Reading on Humans will give you that knowledge, we also have come up with a counter playbook to defeat them.
Jack, we're always grateful for your time here. You have an incredible resource of knowledge with your time as an intel officer, and so we thank you for your service, but we also thank you for your time here on the show and encourage people to go check out your book coming out this July. You can pre-order it now, Unhumans. Grateful for you to give us a little bit of your afternoon. Thanks for being here.
God bless, Annie. Take care.
Yep, you as well. It's Unhumans, The Secret History of Communist Revolutions and How to Crush Them. Hard to argue with wanting to do that, right? I can't imagine there are a lot of people listening to the show right now. They're like, oh, maybe we shouldn't crush. No, just go read the book. Get the book on Amazon. I will tweet out the link here shortly. We appreciate you being with us this afternoon. There's been a lot of news that is cycling. Of course, the Baltimore bridge collapse. We're covering any major breaking news that might occur from there. We heard from the president a little bit earlier in the show. We listened to him speak leading right into noon here on the Annie Fry Show. And we will watch for anything that is developing here in the next, 35 minutes. RFK Jr. This is the longest announcement to a VP pick in the history of time. Like, the VP better be Hillary Clinton or something like that when he comes out. It better be big. I don't think it's going to be. We'll give you the news when it hits here. I'm just waiting for all this news to break, and it's all going to break probably from Mark Reardon at 3:05. That's the way it goes. Make sure you check out Jack Posobiec's book. We'll be back in a minute.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on Instagram at The Annie Fry Show.
I wanna scream at the top of my lungs. I just found out there's no such thing as the real world. Just a lie who got to rise above.
Michael's Flooring Outlet online at igotfloor.com. Shopping local in St. Louis for flooring means shopping at Michael's Flooring Outlet. You are shopping with a locally owned and operated business that has for decades been serving families just like yours for their flooring needs. You walk into Michael's Flooring Outlet, you are going to understand why they have been successful for the 30 years plus that they have been in the business of providing flooring for people just like you, for businesses maybe just like yours. If you are looking for a replacement or if you're looking for a new installation of flooring, you care about the quality. You don't want to just go with the cheapest thing you can get because you know you always, sometimes at least, you get really cheap stuff. You want quality, but you don't want to sacrifice value to get it. That's why you shop at Michael's Flooring Outlet. There are 3 locations around the St. Louis area. You can look in Darien Prairie, West County, or St. Charles County for your in-store shopping needs. And you can ask them about their Techwood Plus flooring, their Mohawk Smart Strand line of carpeting. Whatever it is that you're looking for, talk to them, and they'll help guide you in a way that you will be proud of your investment and excited for your new flooring once it's complete. You can find them online at igotfloored.com.
Hey, it's Jim Costa from Cash the Ticket. Tourney time is here. Mike Valeni and I are going through every matchup of the big dance over on the podcast. We're talking sides, totals, mix in a reckless parlay every now and then. Come on, it's fun. We've got tourney trends, futures plays, who wins the national title, something for every bettor and every sports fan. Region by region, game by game, however you want to digest it, it's there. Download Cash the Ticket today. It's on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Urgent Camp Lejeune settlement message. The government will soon begin providing fast, guaranteed settlements to Camp Lejeune Marines, families, and civilians. Awards will range between $100,000 and $550,000 with an option for higher amounts. If you or a loved one spent time at Camp Lejeune and suffered cancers of the bladder, liver or kidneys, leukemia, non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, Parkinson's, or kidney issues, you may be entitled to a significant financial reward for your Camp Lejeune claim and could be paid within 60 days after accepting your settlement with your VA benefits fully protected. But the deadline for filing is fast approaching, so you need to act now. Call the James Harris Law Camp Lejeune helpline now to get the compensation you deserve. We're already fighting for thousands harmed by the water at Camp Lejeune, and with the deadline coming, you need to call now or you may forever lose your right to a settlement between $100,000 and $550,000. For your free evaluation, call 800-885-2277, 800-885-2277, 800-885-2277.
We're definitely going to be late to the concert. I feel like we should be there by now.
I'm just taking a little detour. I gotta fill up my gas tank, and I know this place a couple towns over where the gas is cheaper.
Are you serious? We're gonna be late for the concert because you're driving out of the way for cheaper gas? Just use Upside.
What's Upside?
Upside is the free cashback app that gets you real cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait, I can get cash back just for buying the gas I need anyway?
Yes, I use it all the time, and I've made around $200. Now pull over so you can download the Upside app before we miss the concert.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code CHEAP to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or as a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code CHEAP for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code CHEAP for a 25 cents per gallon bonus. That's code CHEAP.
What better way to support your nutrition than with the multivitamin that was created right here in St. Louis? Neovitin Original Multivitamin was created by St. Louis physician Dr. Abicki to support his own nutrition when he needed it most. Now, Neovitin Original Multivitamin is formulated with sensible doses of vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, and Dr. Abicki's proprietary blend to give you nutritional support you won't find anywhere else. Neovitin is now conveniently available through our no-obligation monthly subscription. Cancel or pause at any time, and shipping is free. Support your nutrition with a subscription to Neovitin at neovitin.com today.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Fry Show.
I found hay in a stack of needles, four-leaf clover in a
Welcome back to
mile
the Annie
away.
Fry Show. You know, we can't do breaking news in this studio for a whole day without Ethan. And Ethan is now in the studio. You're supposed to be in here for the 2 o'clock hour. We got Jack on the show, who Jack Posobiec was just with us talking about his latest book, Unhumans. And now RFK Jr. is announcing his running mate. Do we have that? We're ready to go? Okay. Yes, let's go. Let's listen into it and see what's going on here.
And compassion and idealism, and above all, a deep love for the United States of America. And I found all of those qualities in a woman who grew up right here in Oakland, the daughter of immigrants who overcame every daunting obstacle and went on to achieve the highest levels of the American dream. So that is why I'm so proud to introduce to you the next Vice President of the United States, my fellow lawyer, a brilliant scientist, technologist, a fierce warrior mom, Nicole Shanahan.
So a Kennedy Shanahan ticket. Who saw that coming? I don't know. Maybe is there more? Is she going to come up on the stage? I quick Google searched her, and Her Wikipedia first sentence is Nicole Shanahan, born 1985 or 1986. So I don't feel really bad for not knowing a whole lot about Nicole Shanahan because Wikipedia doesn't know. They've narrowed it down to 2 years.
Well, that's better than 3, Annie.
That's true. I should look at the right side. There's a lot of articles that are being posted about here right now. Let's read what NBC News has to say. Independent presidential candidate Robert F. Kennedy Jr. announced Tuesday that Nicole Shanahan, a wealthy attorney and entrepreneur in the San Francisco Bay Area, will be joining his campaign as his vice presidential selection. Shanahan, who, like Kennedy, has never run for elected office, has contributed to his campaign and his super PAC. Kennedy made the announcement at an event in Shanahan's hometown of Oakland. She's beautiful, and she is she's like 37 or 38. We don't
Holy.
know. Born in 85 or 86.
Yeah, quick math. I guess I just didn't connect how young she is. Wow, that's crazy.
That's like when people say something happened 30 years ago, and you're
Right.
like, really, the 70s? No. That's 50. That's longer than that. Any first blush reaction to... Honestly, my first reaction is I had to Google her, and she's pretty. She's from San Francisco, Californian.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't know anything about her. I mean, all I have is that little clip there, what Kennedy was saying about her, that she was a lawyer, she's a scientist, all of these things are important. Talking about trustworthiness, I don't know. That all remains to be seen. Impressive that he's selecting somebody so young to be president, because that's just over the line of our vice president. That's just over the line of somebody who can legally or constitutionally be president. I think it's 35.
35.
So she's right there. It brings youth and vigor into the campaign, which I think is a good thing. I think that's something that Americans in general have been clamming.
Vivek is born in 1985.
Yeah. I think he would
Republicans, there are a lot of Republicans who looked at Vivek and was like, he could be president. And she is born in 1985 or 1986. So
So she's either the same age or potentially a little younger.
Little younger. But I don't Vivek seems a little wise beyond his years, I would say, in the way he's speaking. What about, let's set this aside, because that's about as interested as I am in RFK Jr.'s vice presidential candidate. There are rumors circulating about who Donald Trump's VP is going to be, and I was listening to Kilmeade, because Brian Kilmeade's on right before we are here on 97.1 in St. Louis, and he was really pushing hard for Donald Trump to come out and say, here's my cabinet. These are all the people I'm going to pick for my cabinet, and let them go out and be surrogates for Trump, who gets a press pool every time he walks out of a courtroom, which happens all of the time because that's the Democratic political strategy. Apparently, the only way that the Democrats know that they can beat Donald Trump is in the courtroom, and they're not really succeeding in that. That the idea that you would say, here's my cabinet. Donald Trump did that with the Supreme Court justices that he would nominate. He said, I will pick from this list. And then he did, and had the ultimate opportunity to do that multiple times. That's kind of a give or take for me. You pick your cabinet, you put them out, they go out and be your surrogates. They got to all be on point. They got to all be on message. Because then, instead of Donald Trump driving the message and being the guy, which he is right now, if you have a baker's dozen people out there saying, this is this is that, they all got to be able to carry the message to a T. You can't mess up.
Right.
Because then now you're fighting fires on multiple fronts instead of just the one that surrounds Donald Trump at every given time. Would you feel better, Ethan, if you're going to cast your vote? I mean, to me, it's like the president is who you're voting for. That's really what you're going to the ballot box for. But if you found out, oh, this is who this person wants to have be the attorney general, this is who the person wants to have be secretary of state, I would think that those are important things to know ahead of time. It certainly wouldn't hurt my vote, assuming they picked smart.
No, I agree. And I'll speak representing I guess my generation, which I forget what we even
You're
said.
Gen
I was
Z.
Gen Z. There we go.
Yes.
You knew I forgot.
Millennial here.
I will. Yes.
Gen Z there. Yeah.
I will say though that for my generation, I would probably assume that those things honestly probably don't matter. And the reason I would say that is because my generation is all about what's going to grab your attention. The attention spans are low.
Your attention right now.
Yes.
And then again tomorrow
Yes.
and the next day. What are those things?
Specifically,
What is it that you see? What is it that your peers experience that might make your trail of thought go into who's in charge of this anyway? Is it the gas pump?
Yeah, I think that I think when you, especially in today's day and age, right, where college is so pushed, right, and kids now are coming out of college with thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars of debt, and then you hit the real world and you start working, I don't have a lot of extra money. So when on top of that, things like that are added on, I think that's a big point. But as far as that point on the attention span goes, I think that people my age are looking at the big picture stuff. They're seeing Trump, they're seeing Biden. I don't think that a lot of the details behind who are a part of, the cabinet and things like that, I honestly don't think that my age of people would be looking at that very much.
Do you think, Brad, you're 15 years older or something than Ethan? Do you feel like knowing the Secretary of State, who Donald Trump would pick to be Secretary of State, would maybe not affect your vote because you're probably pretty committed to voting for the Republican, but people who you talk to, do you think it would be influential?
Well, maybe. I mean, you've got to look. I think when you look at how the wheels are coming off foreign policy as we sit here, there's 2 more wars that are going on than there was whenever Trump was president last time. There's shipping lanes being blocked because Houthi rebels want to shoot rockets at ships that are just passing through because they're mad about one
For the
of the
record,
wars.
we're not talking about Baltimore.
Right. Yeah, we're
That's
talking.
different.
Yeah, we're talking about something else. But the thing about it is that Anthony Blinken is a Secretary of State. He handles foreign policy for the Biden administration. He handles that. He's Joe Biden's right-hand man when it comes to this. And to know, and you compare something like that to Mike Pompeo, who had the Abraham Accords. We had a peace negotiated between North and South Korea, ending I believe that ended the Korean War. The Korean War was just on a ceasefire, and it was still officially a war up until the Trump presidency. They negotiated a peace. Now things are starting to heat up again because things are getting off the rocker. I think that is important, especially whenever you consider, Vladimir Putin, you consider maybe even like the border situation and how that's going. I think to the average person, if they understand what the Secretary of State does, I think it will matter to them.
Doesn't Trump have a place in Jersey? Bedminster?
Yeah, that does sound
right. Is that
right.
a Trump place? I think he does.
Yeah.
He changes his residence to there. The problem with having a presidential candidate and a vice presidential candidate is that the electors from that state can't vote for both candidates if they're both from the same state. So I think my understanding is that would only affect who the Florida electors would be able to vote for vice president if the top of the ticket and the bottom of the ticket were from the same place. I hear so many suggestions for vice president for Trump that are from Florida. So if it's somebody who's in Florida, everyone's thinking of talking about Ron DeSantis, and Ron DeSantis is not going to be Donald Trump's vice president.
No.
And I am firm on that. And if I were ever wrong about anything, that would be the most gleeful thing I would have ever been wrong about anything ever. But Byron Donalds comes up quite a bit. Tim Scott, South Carolina, he comes up quite a bit. Kristi Noem, South Dakota, her name is discussed quite a bit. Sarah Huckabee Sanders in Arkansas is discussed quite a bit. But you sent me a link yesterday.
Yeah.
That suggested Marco Rubio. And what was that from? I couldn't remember what the source was.
Oh, I don't remember offhand. I'll pull it up here real quick.
I am a huge Marco Rubio fan. I don't know how cool it is to be a Marco Rubio fan, but I don't give a crap what anybody thinks about how cool it is. I love the way he talks. I love the way he thinks. I loved his campaign for presidency in 2015 and 2016 when Donald Trump trounced him. That Marco Rubio was doing so well until Marco Rubio decided to try to beat Trump at Trump's game, being Trump, and nobody wins that. Donald Trump wins that every time. But I think he has the right set of skills that would complement Donald Trump.
It was Dave Marcus.
Dave Marcus. Okay. We've had him on the show before. Byron Donalds would be great. I would be very interested in seeing what could materialize from that. I still wonder if the vice presidential candidate for Donald Trump matters. Does that matter to you, Ethan?
I would say so. I think that even looking back on 2016, when I was at that point a sophomore in high school,
Yeah.
Mike Pence and his ideals, his values, his morals, those were impactful to me. And I felt like I could honestly, in a lot of ways, personally relate with Pence more than I could Trump. And I
So
think
he kind of validated the ticket for you.
yeah, I would say so, as well as I think what Pence did so well in those early years of his term was he almost offset Trump a little bit. He
Oh,
was
yeah.
such the loud, you knew when, obviously it's Donald Trump, but you know just based off his personality, when he walks in a room, you know he's there.
Yeah.
Pence was more so the one that offset that.
Little stoic.
Yeah, and I think that, I don't think there's necessarily that's the only way to go about it, but at the time, obviously things got really messy towards the end, but he complimented him.
That is
He
one way of putting it.
complimented him really well,
Yeah.
I thought.
No, I agree. He gave the conservative chops to the ticket when Donald Trump was an unknown. My vote for Donald Trump in 2015 and 2016 was squarely a vote against Hillary Clinton getting her paws anywhere near a Supreme Court justice appointment. No, absolutely couldn't stomach it. I was discussing on X last night with somebody who listens to the show and had asked me about, like, is there any reason why we're not questioning, I think he said the $8 trillion in spending that Trump approved, whatever. I don't remember the specific details. And my response, that's very frustrating to this individual voter, but I've heard that from other people that, we can't overlook the spending that Donald Trump participated in. You are right, and we are right to criticize every single one of our conservative leaders that we send into the pit and the belly of Washington, D.C., and then they get the muck and the swamp on them, and then they start spending money, and they think that it's justified because they brought a little bit of that bag back home for their district. When reality is, we don't have the money, and we should only be spending it where we have it. That is an actual reality of the situation, and we need to hold all of them accountable. And unless they hear our voice, they're not going to feel compelled to consider saying no when it comes time to spend money that we don't have. Just look at the Republicans in the House right now who skipped the rules, didn't have, is it the 72-hour rule or whatever it is? They have a rule in place that gives them enough time to read the bill. They skipped it. They funded it. Here we are. It's outrageous. And we, the voters, we, the capital P people, have to be participants in the process and be able to say, I have a huge problem with what this elected official did or will continue to do in the future, but to still look at the big picture and say, that guy over there is set out to destroy this country as we know it. And I firmly believe that Joe Biden is set out to complete what Barack Obama started, the fundamental transformation of America into something that we don't recognize anymore. A fundamental transformation looks very different at the end than at the very beginning. And I think that Joe Biden is supposed to be the completion of it. And I, for one, would like to rip the rug right out from underneath him. You got problems with Donald Trump? You don't have to shelf those. You don't have to ignore them. You should be super vocal about them so that when he does win the election, he adheres to what the people are saying to him. And he can't do that if we don't make a ruckus. However, take that vote, keep it to yourself. Everybody calls it holding your nose. Let the other guy get in there. I don't know how you feel good when you're sleeping at night going, well, at least I didn't vote for Donald Trump. That doesn't help my kids and the future of this country, not in my opinion. But I know a lot of people feel differently, and that's why we like to talk about it. Let's take a quick break. Ethan, I'm going to ask you this question. When we come back, do you cross a major bridge multiple times a week? I think people are kind of reconsidering their commutes right now, although it's not like you all have boats available for you to. Those are kind of in peril also, I guess, as much as the bridges. Let us know on the Andy Fry YouTube channel. We broadcast live every day on the Andy Fry YouTube channel from noon to 3 Central, and we're always grateful when you come join the live chat throughout the course of the show. Vote in the YouTube live chat poll. Results when we come back.
This is the Andy Fry Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Andy.
I found the one. If you're gonna gamble, may as well be on love. Found the one. May have had something before. Found the one. But now you can't get enough.
Let's talk about the Diamond Shop and the pretty, sparkly things that they have right there. Are you looking for a Mother's Day gift? Because it's coming around the corner, guys, and it sneaks up. And you want to get something this year that is very special. She deserves it. You know she deserves it. Look at what she puts up with all the time. I was just thinking the other day about, I was sitting on the floor, and I had my kids, 3 kids, crawling all over me, and everybody was having a good time. And I just thought, one of these days, this will be over. And as much as the constant contact is kind of something to take in all of the time, I will miss it one day. And it's just one of those things about being a mom that you take in, you soak in. It warms your heart, and you just want to recognize that at Mother's Day, don't you? Well, go to the Diamond Shop and start looking at what they have. They have 6 months, same as cash financing, so if you want to spread those payments out a little bit, you can do so at the Diamond Shop. And they also do custom jewelry and watch repair appraisals, and they buy gold as well. All of your jewelry needs are met when you shop in the Clayton store at the Diamond Shop, and you can become a VIP online and learn more about them by visiting thediamondshop.net.
At Lakeside Renovation and Design, our secret sauce isn't just the tools we use or the materials we choose. It's our people. We're not just builders. We're local craftsmen, highly skilled in our trades. Our team takes immense pride in transforming homeowners' visions into reality. We're not just in the business of remodeling. We're in the business of making homes more beautiful, comfortable, and valuable. What sets us apart? Integrity and honesty. Our craftsmen exceed expectations because we care. Lakeside, where every nail, every cut, every detail is a testament to our commitment to you.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle, unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. And right now you can try it for free at ziprecruiter.com/radio. With ZipRecruiter, one click sends your job to hundreds of top job sites. But more than that, ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies the candidates with the skills you need, sends you a list of great matches to review, then actively invites them to apply for your job. And the results speak for themselves. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. That's right, the first day. Now you can focus on your business and let ZipRecruiter do the work finding the best people for you. See for yourself. Experience the ease, efficiency, and power of ZipRecruiter for free. Just go to ziprecruiter.com/radio. That's ziprecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
You're listening to the Annie Fry Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Make your home comfortable year-round with routine HVAC maintenance from Air Comfort Service. Maintenance plans start at $15 per month and get 1 month free when you pay monthly. For details, visit aircomfortservice.com.
Hi, this is Scott Trout of Cordell & Cordell. There are a lot of great dads out there. Sometimes those dads get divorced. For more than 30 years, we have represented men in divorce, confronting the pitfalls that could devastate your finances or harm your family relationships. While every situation is different, our goal is to get the best outcome for you and your kids. Visit CordellCordell.com to take the first step.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. 600 Kelwood Parkway, Suite 310, Town & Country, Missouri, 63017. CordellCordell.com.
Pizza's here. Oh, great. I'd love some, but I'm worried about my stomach issues.
If you're worried about having diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose, oily stools, it may not just be stomach issues. It could be a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and talk to your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-652-5241 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-652-5241. That's 800-652-5241. What do you have to lose? Call 800-652-5241. Again, 800-652-5241.
Not many window companies do egress windows. Egress windows are the opening shoes for emergencies for basements with no doorway exit to the outside. GHRcontracting.com. That's all we do. Egress windows. GHRcontracting.com.
Mark Cox here. If you're nearing retirement or already retired, call my friends Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw with the Retirement Advisory Group. They'll show you how to link to the market without the risk. They're the official financial advisors of my show. Go online to retirementkey.com.
The time is currently 2:52. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon getting set to go here after Fox News. RFK Jr. picks his running mate, and yes, it's Aaron Rodgers. No, it's Sue, it's not. We had her for a moment, but we'll talk about it coming up.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on Twitter @AnnieFryShow.
Let me run with you tonight. I'll take you on a moonlight ride. There's some.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. Thanks for being with us this afternoon. Watching that Baltimore bridge just crumble, it looked like something that happens on the living room floor in my house when my kids are playing with like Tinker toys. You got like a toy fire truck, boom, everything just collapses right away.
I was really curious where that was going for a second when we were at the living room point.
How did I loop it back in?
Okay, got it. It
Got it.
connected, but for a second I was like, man, if someone stops listening right there, they're probably thinking, what
What's
was
going
she about
on?
to say?
When did you see the video first, Ethan?
I saw it when I came into work this morning. I was over at KMOX this morning and yeah, saw it. I mean, it was first thing that I saw and it was just like, oh my goodness. Holy moly. I mean, stuff that you do not see very often.
Brad, you said it's kind of hitting you every single
Yeah,
time
every
you
time
see
you
it.
see it, I mean, the boat hits it, the ship hits it, and then it just crumples. And like leading up to it, because it almost happens in slow motion. That video that we've been watching has been sped up because you can tell by the flashing of the lights on top of the thing and the cars going across the bridge. But these cars are going across a bridge and it's slow motion. And then all of a sudden there's cars on the bridge across it in the middle of this span. And this boat just hits the pier and the whole thing just falls down.
So
just smashes.
It was pretty crazy. We actually heard the comms, I guess, the communications between, I don't know if it was the public works or people who were direct that area or the bridge. And I kid you not, they closed down the bridge, like took traffic off. Now it was 1 a.m, so I can't imagine it was a lot of passengers, but they closed it off no more than a minute and a half before it collapsed, according to the audio that I heard this morning. So the fact that it all lined up the way it did is just unbelievable, and the fact that there aren't mass casualties is a miracle, honestly.
Jack Posobiec was on with us at the top of this hour, and I didn't realize that he was that close to that bridge. He says he takes that bridge.
Yeah, he took a picture of it and tweeted that out earlier.
Do you cross, the YouTube poll for today is, do you cross a major bridge multiple times a week? Are you crossing bridges?
I am, yeah. I live in St. Charles, so I cross the Missouri River every single day to come to work.
So you hadn't heard the news when you came to work?
I had not, but I sure will be.
You just drive across that bridge.
White knuckling on the way home.
Yeah, Brad, you and I take the same bridge.
Yeah, same bridge, span. We go across that. But
that one's new. You guys are good.
Yeah, but we got some good news though.
Yeah,
that's a suspension bridge, and the piers aren't actually in the water.
So we feel good about that.
Sigh of relief.
Better about that. Yeah. It could have been so much worse. There's still loss of life. 6 individuals are still missing, and that's cold water.
Mm-hmm.
So lots of prayers for those families. And, credit to the mayor. We played Mayor Brandon Scott a little bit earlier, and he said what we need to do right now is we need to pray for these people. And I very much so second that emotion. The YouTube live chat poll for today is asking you if you cross a major bridge multiple times a week. 17% of you said hardly ever. 21% said no. So about 38% of you all listening right now who voted have said this isn't really an immediate thing for you. Occasionally 32%, and 30% of you said almost daily. And I know there are several people who, I used to have a friend who lived in the St. Charles area, and in the event that he would have to come see me in Illinois, he'd be like, I don't know about crossing 2 bridges in one day. That was his measure.
Pushing the luck a little bit.
Like if the bridge wasn't there, he would have done it or something like that. Prayers up for the people in Baltimore who are going to have to handle this tragedy in the wake of it. And we appreciate you for being with us this afternoon. Jim Carafano, Lieutenant Joe Gamaldi, Jack Posobiec, all here on the Andy Fry Show today. The Mark Reardon Show coming up next.
When you have Rhino Shield on your house, it does a couple of things for you. It beautifies the house, and it protects it from the harshest elements. And boy, do we see those here in the greater St. Louis area. You get instant curb appeal. It will stick to anything. Rhino Shield is the answer, no matter whether you're painting a home or a church or a business or a condo, because it's 100% waterproof. It takes care of the outdoor maintenance on whatever is on the outside of your home. The brick, the block, aluminum, steel, stucco. They can put this on with the 2 to 3 coat process. They're there about a week, and they do a great job. A lot of businesses have done it in the area. Several Firestones have done that. Vantage Credit Union over the years, Harlan Packaging down in DeSoto. Call Darren today and schedule your free estimate. 877-25-RHINO, easy to remember phone number, or go online today at 877-25RHINO.com.
When you're acquiring a mortgage for a home you're purchasing, or if you're trying to acquire a new one because you want to refinance what you currently have for your house, it's important to know what your options are. Sometimes we get in the habit of just going to who we know or the first person that is recommended to us. Make sure that you add my recommendation to your list of options. And I'm just going to encourage you to call or text Stewie at Stewart's American Mortgage to ask him how a bagel loan can help you. You can call his competition. He's pretty confident that he's going to be the best one that you are going to deal with. The bagel loan means that you're going to get your mortgage with 0 closing costs. He doesn't roll them into the loan. They don't exist later on. There's not some magic trick to it. He will explain in detail exactly how you pay nothing in closing costs when you get a mortgage with Stewart's American Mortgage, or you refinance a mortgage with Stewart's American Mortgage using the bagel loan. 314-324-4440. Call or text 314-324-4440. Google the bagel loan, NMLS number 226715.
Here's something you won't hear from any other jeweler. Right now, when you buy a diamond at Diamonds Direct, we'll give you a free gold setting for it. Yes, a 14-karat classic solitaire setting in white gold or yellow gold at no charge with any natural diamond purchase. So all your money can go toward a bigger diamond while you still get the classic look she wants in that engagement ring. Another example of Diamonds Direct's extraordinary value. Or if you want to take it up to the next level, Diamonds Direct also has a fantastic selection of halo, pave, vintage, 3-stone, and other popular mountings. Or maybe she wants a designer ring, like the one she's seen on social media. Well, Diamonds Direct has those too. In fact, we are an authorized retailer for all the top designers from New York and California. Whichever setting you choose, you'll also be able to choose your finance plan. Diamonds Direct now has a wide range of finance options with attractive rates and terms up to 60 months, so you can get the ideal setting to fit your style with the ideal payment to fit your budget. Diamonds Direct, your love, our passion. Store hours, directions, and more at diamondsdirect.com.
KFTK FM Florissant. From the Under Law Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studio. 97.1 FM Talk. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
This is no ordinary bridge. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. Those words from U.S. Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg moments ago in Baltimore, where the Francis Scott Key Bridge collapsed early today after being hit by a cargo ship that lost